Leave it me to have a sneezing fit like 2 seconds after I announced the stream going live. Okay. So, let's see. Oh, I gotta adjust this thing. My weird drape pillow blanket thing. I turned up desktop volume in OBS a little bit because when reviewing a VOD yesterday, not really reviewing in particular, I just opened it for some reason, I forget why. Felt like the volume was still kind of quiet on games, so maybe this will be a bit better now. We'll have to see, As always, you let me know if not. I think the camera's dark, but I think it's just because I'm wearing something that's not a tie-dye shirt because they're all in the wash. Hey. Anyway, I'm streaming a bit late today. I would have done it earlier. I had stuff to do today, man. I played Full Metal Furies with some friends for like 3 or 4 hours, finishing an entire world. Afternoon came, I had lunch, got sleepy, took a nap, got up, responded to a friend who messaged me, went out with him to get some dinner, and pick up some air conditioners for him, and here I am. Doesn't feel like that should have taken the entire day, but it did somehow. Oops. So, I'm gonna get through some of this. Oh, hey, real. That's fast. I like that sprite for him. I was watching, oh yeah, you were actually there watching Fatal play the other night. I like the other sprites that added for some of the characters, especially like Kinzo in the PS3 art. Goda, no, you can't be there. Why is he so excited? He has like childish glee, honestly, right there. I would give him the harem back reel, but I've already removed him from like OBS, so I would have to set up all 7 images again. So no, unfortunately, Goda's all alone. But he's single and ready to mingle. He's very excited, so I'm sure someone will come along soon. Leave my trail mix alone, you little brat. Okay. This is the power of magic you were talking about, Mario Nechan? Ooh, knowing magic means that you notice a lot of friends right beside you that you didn't notice before. It's as fun as having a bunch of new toy shops pop up all over the neighborhood. Anyone remember, KB Toys? And also EB Games. EB Games became GameStop later on here in the US. I don't know if they're still active anywhere else in the world. Might not be. There's also KB Toys. We had one in the mall nearby. It's gone now. In fact, we don't even have the GameStop at the mall anymore, I don't think. But we do have one nearby. If even I, locked up in an academy without a single friend... Hey! No scratch. Had power like Mario Nechan. I wonder if I could make my days just a little richer. I wonder if I'll be able to honestly shed tears on nights I feel like crying, to smile on grey nights. Yes, you can. You can do it. After all, you also have what it takes to become a witch. What it takes to become a witch? I have what it takes to become a witch too, so I've still got a lot more studying and training to do. Hey Gex. Yeah, there's probably another half an hour to hour of it. I'm not sure if it's all at once though. Actually, there's probably more than that split up. Come to think of it, there's a lot of stuff that gets covered. Hey. I'm gonna put this somewhere else, okay? Stop playing with the trail mix bag. She doesn't want the food, she just plays with the plastic. Hey, Izu, you made it in time for once. I'll definitely become a wonderful witch, flying in the sky on a broom, drawing rainbows with my cane, making candy fall from the sky. I can definitely do it. Then I'll show you too. It'll definitely be like a scene from a wonderful dream. Got it. Audio only. Right now it's Angie talking with Mario in a flashback. Imaginary Mario, not real Mario. Mario Nechan said that, making an absolute promise with a smile. There's no way I can become a witch. But if Mario Nechan says that, it makes me feel like that maybe I really can become a witch. Because in reality, on that desolate one night, when no flower of a smile could possibly have bloomed, her magic surely gave birth to a smile. I wonder if I can become a witch. You can. You're a bit older, so your soul is bound a bit more by gravity. That might make training tougher than it is for me. But you definitely can. After all, you're already touching a small piece of magic. I am? Magic? Yeah. Come on, look. In a world where I don't exist, you summon me and you're talking with me. This is magic. Becoming a witch actually reminds me, We saw like Ava do it, for example. I was on the wiki just yesterday, finding like an image of like someone's old art because someone in the Chaos Discord is playing through the game with like the PS3 art, the voices and stuff. And I guess I spoiled myself for something that happened from the sidelines. I haven't seen. There was a character in a witch outfit that shouldn't have been in a witch outfit that I was not aware of. No, it's not Goda. It wasn't Goda. It was someone else. So, man, I look forward to playing Saku now. I assume it's probably in Saku. Very, very curious. I don't know why. Yeah, I look forward to it. You know, learn more about their character. Showing the OP Hakanai? I'm not talking about something here real in episode 4. I'm gonna link it to you in Discord, since you don't mind spoilers at all, right? Give me just a second here. You're gonna be confused too. I don't care if you look up spoilers and why it's the case, but don't spoil me because I don't know anything about it. Where is it? Oh, here. Okay, actually, well, no, it's not quite... Okay, I don't know if this is someone's edit, actually, but it's on the wiki, so it can't be, right? I just don't know why... Here you go. I'm just gonna DM this to you, real. I don't know what to make of this. You need to actually click on the link to go there. It looks like someone's, like, shitty edit. But I don't think it'd be on the wiki if it were. Anyway. This is magic? Yeah. You've expanded the fragment of my soul that I left in my diary. You're reviving me right now. I also said it a short while ago, right? Since you managed to reunite with me and have a conversation, since you're able to smile every once in a while, you must have some magical talent, Angie. Your Mario Onechan guarantees it. Ooh. You said it a second ago, Onechan. Thought I could only meet you while the diary was open. But you're really nearby all the time, right? If I had more of the power of magic, would I be able to see you? And just like now, would I be able to talk with you, Onechan? At any time? Yeah, we can talk at any time. I'm there by your side to say good morning and even during class. Let's talk together during dull classes to distract you from your boredom. I'll also be there to talk to you during meals, so let's always be together like this during lunch break. Ooh! We're with you after school too, and of course I'm always by your side even after you return to the dormitory. It's just that you don't see me except when the diary is opened. Ooh. Even when I close the diary, Mario Onechan, you'll be by my side, right? Yes, I'll be there. So if you try to see me and try to talk to me, I'll definitely be able to answer. If you look strongly and try to talk, that is. Ooh. I'll give it a try. It isn't easy, okay? It isn't going to go well all of a sudden, got it? Sounds like a threat. I understand. I'm sure it won't be easy. But I want to be like you, Mario Onechan. Ooh, I understand. Then look at me well. Look closely. Okay. Slowly open and close your eyes. You can't shut them for a long time all of a sudden. After burning my form into your eyes, try to make it blend into the inside of your eyelids. Yeah, I'm doing it. Once you can visualize me even when your eyes are closed, without changing anything, slowly and softly close your eyes again. How is it? Can you still see me? Yes, I think I can probably see you. Then try opening your eyes for a second. Now for the real thing. Calm your heart and close the diary. At that time, my form may disappear for a second. But calm your heart and don't get anxious. And then try to make the me that's blended into the inside of your eyelids blend back into your eyes. Slowly visualize me in the empty air. In the empty air, see me. Yeah, I'm okay. Then I'll close the diary. Ooh. Slowly, I closed it. When I did so, a gray reality filled with dull air unfolded. Of course, Mario Onechan's form disappeared. Give it all you've got. Have courage. Take the first step into the world of witches. I felt like Mario Onechan was cheering me on inside my heart. She's cheering me on? Really? Or do I just think that she is? No, that's wrong. It's because I think that I cannot see her. Mario Onechan is always by my side, and even now, she's definitely there, cheering me on to do my best. That reached my ears, so I mustn't ignore it like it's my imagination or the voice of my own heart. I believe that Mario Onechan is there. I mustn't doubt. I believe. Second. Just responding to something. It reminds me of like, you know, kid with imaginary friends. Eventually, you know, for some kids they're gonna naturally lose them, but for some kids they might keep them, and then realize like they don't quite believe in them as strongly anymore. But in Angie's case, like, this started when she was like, you know, late teens. Well, actually, no, that might not be the case. She lost her family when she was like 6. So actually, that's not true. So I guess maybe she's had Moria as an imaginary friend ever since she learned that she died? On Kenjima. That could be the case. I can see why it'd be hard to shake her in that case. So don't think that like Angie's too crazy here. Yeah, she's a bit old for it. But I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. I still had imaginary friends until I was 13. That'll be a fun story to tell one day. Yeah. So don't doubt Angie too much here. The way to like quote unquote keep imaginary friends is essentially what Angie's doing. Just shake off any doubts that you have. You need to like believe in it. And essentially for a long time I told myself that I believed in it still, until I was like, you know, this is gonna like ostracize me growing up. And I like had kind of a moment of clarity and got out of that. Yeah, not much more to say on it really, without going into full details. I had an interesting childhood. I mustn't doubt. I believe. One-chan said she'd always be by my side. I must not doubt that. But looking at that empty space, by the empty back wall of the school building, amidst those almost heartlessly boring rays of sunlight, calling her name was unexpectedly difficult. The chains of common sense that had clung to me until today sneered at me, telling me that calling out to the empty air was ridiculous. I keep forgetting that my mouse doesn't show up in this game. It was almost like being told to take a step forward off the roof of a skyscraper overlooking a sea of lights. You would never do that. It's Mario and Achan saying it. It's alright. She's saying that I'm someone who can do it. It's okay as long as they don't interrupt your going into games machine. Everyone had one of those growing up, right? Stop thinking that you might fall, or that it'd be foolish to take a step off a roof. Free yourself from those chains of common sense. The hair's getting really long. Look at this. When it was this long last time I cut it, but I might let it grow out a while this time. Or just cut it in the front. Let it grow out in the back again. I've had hair past my shoulders before in the past, but it never looks that amazing, really. Ugh. Okay. I studied my breathing. I concentrated my mind. Make the vivid form of Mario Nechan in the empty space before you rise to the surface. Understand magic and see Mario Nechan. Mario Nechan. Huh? Is someone there? At that time, I was answered by a rustle in the bushes and a wild cry, and I came to my senses. It looked like I wasn't the only one behind the school building. Can you even read the text in 160p? No, since I'd been so immersed in the world of the diary, I hadn't noticed someone coming. I guess that's my job, though. I recognized a group of 3 beyond the bushes. They were kids from my class, Ed, and Eddie. From their appearance, it felt as though they'd come behind the school building to buy some jawbreakers, gossip about someone to talk in secret. I hurried out of that place. Actually, Sunny Milk, Star Sapphire, little child. Because if it became known that I'd been alone in a place like this, and she's at an all-girls school, mumbling to myself, it'd become a pain again. She said it, right? She said it, right? She said Mario Nechan or something, right? Isn't that creepy? She hasn't seen spirits or something, is she? Hee 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 hee. She made it sound so funny. Everyone has the same laugh. I could hear the shrill, loud laughter from behind. Irritated and feeling that Mario Nechan had been made fun of, I left that place at a quick pace, and then a jog once I turned the corner. And I might have made it to Nechan's world with just a little more time. It was frustrating, aggravating. Why does everyone get in my way? I haven't gotten in anyone else's way, not even once. I ran and ran. It still felt as though I could hear the shrill laughter. You know, I actually wonder, is that like, a public domain sound? Well, not public domain, but it's like something you can like buy online, or like free use on a site. I need to make a note of that. Let's see. Look into where Umineko is from. .txt on my desktop. That's the right way to make a reminder, right? I'm gonna check into that later. Because I know like a lot of the Toho sound effects, people like trace most of them to like an old website that Zun took them from and he modified them just a little bit. So like you're free to use those if you get them from the site. Like you're not supposed to like take them from Toho's files, mind you. Zun doesn't like that because they're different and they're his there. But you can go take them from the old site if you essentially want Toho's bomb sound or whatever for your game. You're perfectly within your rights there. They're free to use from that old site. It's really cool. Honk honk. Look, new portrait, new character. Oh hey, so when we're in Angie mode, we have like this screen instead. I didn't... Oh. Okay, we can actually just switch between all 3 screens. Great. Of course we can. Can she break through Beatrice's magic from position 12 years in the future? Yeah, maybe. It's a shame that Ava doesn't get like an old portrait, honestly. She just is gray. Yeah, you can switch between these. Didn't realize there were 3. This is the usual cast in Aokyanjima. This is the meta cast, including Maria, which is strange. I don't know where Maria is there. But like we have like all the people in the like the meta Aokyanjima. It's kind of funny that Battler isn't here, like, because we have meta Battler and like Battler in universe, right? I don't know why he's not there. I feel like he should always be in this list too, along with the witches and stuff. But whatever. And it's weird that Maria is here because we have not seen Maria in the meta world. We haven't seen Maria do anything weird like that. But here she is, I guess. Says she's a magician, so... Also says Kinzo has black blood. Okay. Who has it? Angie-chan. You jumped off the top of a skyscraper? The groupies were getting annoying, so I thought I'd give them the slip. Angie and an old gentleman wearing an expensive suit were alone in a massive modern conference room. All the newest machines for presentations were installed there, but they didn't upset its refined and composed atmosphere, and that alone was enough to make the business-like theme of the room abundantly clear. However, that didn't matter at all to Angie. She carelessly sat in a high-class chair that executives making a salary of several 10 million yen probably sat in, looking aloof from the world. It's because I knew they were remodeling on a lower floor and had a safety net out. I don't know who does and doesn't use a shotgun in the fighting games. I assume Rosa does. I think Rosa's in there. I kind of doubt that Mario does. I think she uses magic. Angie talked about it like it was no big deal, but in reality, it meant a miracle among miracles. The fighting game is cool because it has stuff from the later games. It has stuff from episodes 5 through 8. So you'll see characters that like you won't see from the anime in there, and you'll see characters from the first 4 episodes doing things that they don't do until later, for example. Like new aesthetics and like things that they haven't done, like abilities and whatnot. Episode 4 has some cool stuff that we're gonna see. Angie talked about it like it was no big deal, but in reality, it had been a miracle among miracles. To think that she'd shot through several layers of safety netting for the remodeling project, been caught in a multicolored banner adorning the atrium and slipped off, only to be softly caught by a final banner, land on the ground without a scratch, and then briskly leave that place. The Jessica Marissa concert was in episode 2, we're already way past that. It doesn't come up again. It put Hong Kong movies to shame. Whether you knew there was a net or not, this is a 200-meter tall super skyscraper we're talking about, right? I guess, very low odds that all that was set up there. Brink has still interfered, perhaps. If things hadn't gone as you planned, there'd be a mess to deal with now. I figured that if I died, then I'd be dead, and that would be that, more or less. Well, still, I was testing my luck a bit. Call it youthful zeal. As though saying that she'd had enough of that topic, Angie shrugged coldly. Seeing that, the old gentleman, who was looking at the world below through a crack in the blinds, cackled. So you were testing your luck, is that it? My, you truly are Kinzo-san's grandchild. The nerve to trust your life to chance. The chairman was also a woman who could stake her life on a bet like it was nothing, so maybe this really is the issue made up blood at work. You really will make it big in the future. Please, let me be blunt. Why not give up this running away from home act and return to the Sumidera family? I heard that Mom had a bad relationship with her family. I don't want to go to the house of people I first met at a funeral. The Sumideras are Mom's family. They're an old family from Kyoto, and compared to Mom's frank attitude, unbelievably strict. The only Sumidera I'd been on good terms with was Grandpa, who was living apart from his family under the guise of retirement. Mom kept in touch with him too, but she avoided the rest of the family completely, almost hostilely so. So when I went out to play with the Sumideta family, it was always Grandpa's house I visited. So just let me catch people up here in case this is unclear, because I know there's a lot of family dynamics in this. So, let's do a quick recap here. Battler and Angie are brother and sister. Battler is the son of Rudolph and Asuma. Asuma is dead. That was Rudolph's first wife. Rudolph remarried Kirie here, and they had Angie. So when they're talking about the Sumideta family, that would be Kirie's family. So her name used to be Sumideta Kirie, but now it's Ushimura Kirie. So I think that sums it up pretty well. So this is the family on Angie's mother's side. When I was young, I didn't really understand it, but I heard that Grandpa was in an extremely weak position, as a man who'd moved into his wife's family register, and his relationship with Grandma was also bad. I might even say that Grandma hated him and couldn't bind him to the house. It isn't hard to imagine that, because she had a soft spot for Grandpa alone. Mom was also hated by the Sumideras. Since I was their daughter, they probably hated me quite a bit too. And yet, they appeared for the first time at Mom's funeral, shamelessly going on about how big I'd gotten, like they could actually act like family after all this time. When Aunt Ava died, I would inherit all the wealth of the Yoshida family. That wasn't what they were after. There's no way they would have been able to say such disgusting words. So the family tried to make a cash grab, essentially, trying to get on good terms. Well, it's not as though I can't understand your desire for self-abandonment now that you're all alone. This isn't self-abandonment. I'm just taking a carefree stroll now that that annoying Aunt Ava has finally kicked the bucket. Everyone else is just making too big a deal out of it. Of course, everyone's after the vast Ushimura wealth I bear. They must think that becoming my guardian means they'll be able to do as they please with that wealth. Just how many people have tried to get close to me, acting like they want to be a substitute parent? If you ever find that you're hurting, please talk with me if it'll help, okay? After all, I think of you as my own grandchild, Angie-chan. I'll say no thank you for now. More importantly, let's return to what we were talking about. Angie-chan, no matter how many times you ask, I'm hiding nothing. The chairman was the only survivor on our Kenjima that day, and she passed away without saying anything. I myself know nothing. Everything is wrapped in darkness, you see. This old gentleman was one of those leaders who had been entrusted with the business group Ava had built up after she passed away. So, Ava's business partner, essentially, in the past. It'll go a little bit more into him. He's kind of important, but kind of not. The one he called chairman was the former chairman, Ushimura Eva. His company once had friendly ties with Hideyoshi's business, and he had a close relationship with both Hideyoshi and Eva. For that reason, when Eva lost Hideyoshi, he became the only person to whom Eva might have let her true intentions slip. Whenever Ava's heart was torn by the loss of her family, whenever she took it out on Angie, he had acted as a buffer between the two, so although Angie didn't trust him, she found a very easy person to question. Are you gonna tell us his name? That crime was... No, that accident. If I call it a crime, I'll get in trouble. I had the same questions about it as the public in the talk shows. At the time of the accident, why was Aunt Ava in a place 2 kilometers away from the mansion, all alone? We didn't know about that. And in the night of a storm. Back then, Ginzo-san was unsure as to whom he should select to be his successor. Officially, he decided on his son, Ralph's son, but he didn't have much trust in that man. So, to fairly determine a successor from among the 4 siblings, he made this game-like test called the Riddle of the Epitaph. So very interesting. Why would Ava... We didn't get to see this. Because after Ava killed everyone in episode 3, it just kind of stopped, right? It just kind of cut out. We didn't get to see what happened. We don't really go on to see that perspective after. Why would Ava be 2 kilometers away? Where would she be on the mansion? There's not much else out there. Like, what was she looking for, or what was she trying to get away from? What questions to have in the back of your mind, because they are very relevant. What did Ava know? Kinzo's credit card. Real, she already found the goddamn gold. I don't think she needed a credit card. Ostensibly, yes. Ginzo-san probably planned to make Ava-san the successor from the beginning. He wanted to withdraw his own rule that the eldest son would be the successor, and instead of Kraus-san, leave the family to the extremely diligent and brilliant Ava-san. The new rule about giving the inheritance to the one who solved the epitaph? was probably nothing more than a farce to snatch the position of successor away from Kraus-san. What do you mean by farce? I mean, he could have said whatever he wanted. He could have just said, Eva gets it. It's his stuff. There's no law that says, like, when he dies, it has to go to the oldest son. It's up to him. It's his stuff. You can write whatever you want in your will. There was no need for anyone to solve that epitaph. Once it had been displayed for an appropriate amount of time, Ginzo-san could just call Eva-san, whom he truly wanted to succeed him, and give her the answer. In other words, that itself would provide proof of her succession to the headship. Well, I mean, we did see her solve it, though. This isn't something they brought up in the talk shows, is it? But it's interesting to see characters 12 years after the fact theorize on what happened and talk about the facts that are known. I think it's a really cool perspective to see. Well, once you bring up the succession of the headship, conspiracy theories tend to rise to the surface. I'm no fool myself. I won't go out of my way to say things that can invite misunderstandings, you see. So this is happening 12 years later, right now. Everyone here is already dead, including Eva, who died of natural causes in a hospital. Eva was the sole survivor, and 12 years later, Angie, Battler's sister, is still not recovered. She really wants to know what happened, basically. She's not able to move on. And, Bryn Castell appeared. Bryn Castell being, right here. To defeat Beatrice in her game, she threw in a piece called Angie. Angie showed up at the end of episode 3 and essentially stopped Battler from signing a contract that said that witches exist. That absolute dumbass. He was about to do it. So, she's essentially traveled back in time using Bryn Castell magic. But at the same time, she's also still here 12 years later. You can make of that however you will. You can say literally, figuratively, same Angie, different Angies. You can think about that, basically. I'm not going to talk about that. But yeah, that's essentially where we are. We're 12 years later. So you can see there were like media conspiracies and like theories and stuff. There are probably true crime videos made about this, except for the fact this is the early 90s, so maybe we're a bit early for that. Maybe documentaries. And then 20 or 30 years later, it's going to be all over YouTube, obviously. This was his theory. At that time, the Ushimura family head, Kinzo, whose remaining life was announced to be short, was troubled by the problem of who was to succeed him. Normally, the successor would be fixed as the oldest son, Kraus, whom Kinzo had chosen himself. I can't believe we still haven't gotten to the tiny bombs. It's gonna finally come up in episode 4. Tiny bombs are episode 4. Finally. About damn time. You know, Umineko's got its memes. It's like got the tiny bombs, it's got Goda, period. It's a shame that, nobody, well, not nobody, it's a shame that the second half isn't nearly as widely known because it has some really funny stuff too. Like, I really want to say, without spoiling it, I don't know if I should. Okay, just look forward to Battler coming out of the closet. I'm gonna say that. Interpret that however you like. I'm not answering questions. Battler's trapped in the closet. Battler can't come out of the closet. Plot point. But in his later years, Kinzo began to think that Eva would make a more fitting family head. Look forward to episode 6. Episode 6 is awesome. I think the closet thing is episode 6. Could be 5. However, Kinzo, who was stubborn even against himself, was stymied by the total successor that he'd already given to Kraus. Then he'd search for an official stance by which he could skip over Kraus and select Eva as his successor. That official stance was the riddle of the epitaph. The primary successor was still Kraus, but there was a new rule saying that if someone appeared who could solve the riddle, they would be chosen as the successor to the headship. Then, on what would probably be his finally family conference, Kinzo told Eva the answer to that riddle himself. In short, it was the same as proclaiming that Eva herself was the successor. On that day, Eva-san was summoned by Kinzo-san, who revealed the answer to her. And, so that she could succeed the headship, he called Eva-san to the hidden mansion, Kodorian, which only the head knew about. And because Aunt Eva arrived at the hidden mansion, one step ahead, she escaped harm in that accident, you say. Maybe Aunt Eva just killed everyone and made it look like an accident, so that she could steal all the wealth for herself. Maybe that's why only she escaped unharmed. Well, that's what the papers are shouting about. However, I believe Eva-san. I'd say there are several points that justify trusting her. For example, that ring of the Ushimura family head, which is on your finger now, Angie-chan. That ring is the only one of its kind in the world, which Kinzo-san had made specially. And the artisan who made it acknowledges that the object on your finger is, without a doubt, that ring. The Ushimura family head's ring. That ring, with a heft of gold and the one-winged seal on it, had a diamond arranged on a pedestal and felt both sturdy and reminiscent of the dark hobbies of the rich. Kinzo had worn that on his finger without removing it even for a moment. This man was saying that the fact Eva had it proved that Kinzo had acknowledged her as the successor. She could have also just killed Kinzo and taken it. After all, Eva-san certainly did have that ring. And if you take into consideration that Eva-san actually was talented, and that Kraus-san had made a fool of himself several times in the business scene, I cannot imagine that Eva-san's story is completely made up. Although there's the possibility that she married her grandfather in order to steal that ring. Then, Aunt Eva, using some kind of trick, massacred everyone and made it look like an accident. Yeah, funny shotgun trick. So, real clever one. Gotta go to school for that one. Yes. It seems the papers were saying something about her massacring everyone, with keeping all the wealth to herself as a goal. True, Eva-san was a person capable of holding back nothing when she was determined to accomplish something. Or she may have committed murder just once in her life, if a chance for keeping all the Ushimura family wealth for herself presented itself. However, I don't think that happened. So what's the second point that justifies your trust in her? Eva-san's family, Hideyoshi-san and George-kun. It might be difficult for you to believe that all of a sudden, Angie-chan, but Eva-san was a person who treasured family greatly. True, part of me didn't want to believe it or acknowledge it, but I did understand vaguely. Aunt Eva certainly had been a person who highly treasured her family. After all, the root of her twisted personality had been nothing more than the sadness of losing her beloved husband and son. After getting hit with her angry outburst as she tried to distract herself from that pain, I have no feelings of sympathy at all. But it's not like I can't imagine how the incredible shock of losing her whole family must have changed her character. I mean, it definitely made Angie a bit more gloomy. You're saying there's no way Aunt Eva, who loved her family, would throw away her husband and her son? That's right. Even if Eva's son really was the culprit and massacred the entire family, making it look like an accident, she most certainly would have spared her husband and her son. She would quibble that, by coincidence, only her family had been in the hidden mansion. If Hideyoshi-san and George-kun had been safe, even I would probably suspect Eva-san. I truly cannot imagine that Eva-san's wailing at Hideyoshi-san's funeral was an act. Sounds like both points so far are just circumstantial evidence. That isn't the same as physically proving Aunt Eva's evidence. Innocence. Hahaha. If you say that, then you're stuck right away. Eva-san was the only survivor, and she says that this is the truth. But no one can prove her innocence. Yes, that's right. And no one can prove that she committed a crime either. Oh no, devil's proof. And the final point that justifies trusting her is the police. After all, it was such a flashy crime. The police were being pushed forward by a public in an uproar over conspiracy theories, so they must have investigated Eva-san thoroughly. It was easy to feel something unnatural about the claim that Eva had avoided the accident by coincidence, because she alone had escaped to a hidden mansion. It's really interesting that they call it an accident, right? How are, like, the bloody murders of 17 people with, like, stakes in various parts of their body, like Kinzo's in the incinerator and stuff? Well, not he was burnt, but not in the incinerator this time around, I guess. Accident, huh? It's interesting terminology. You don't just have 17 people, you know, fall on the stakes of purgatory and die. So, weird, right? They're not referring to it as an accident as a euphemism. It's not, like, ironically either. They really do mean that for whatever reason. Furthermore, at the time, Hideyoshi's company had been right in the middle of a takeover struggle, and in order to buy up the big stockholders, she'd wanted a large sum of cash. Couldn't be too hard to find the motive there. But as a matter of fact, there had been nothing at all that implicated Eva as she went to the family conference. Nothing unnatural was found on her that could have been used to brutally murder her family and make it look like an accident. The servants who escaped harm by being off duty on the day also stated that they hadn't seen anything strange regarding anyone related to the event, Eva included. Putting all that together, it can only be concluded that Ushimura Eva had headed to Rokkenjima for a normal family conference without any change, and had encountered an accident. The police looked so intensively, and they still couldn't find evidence that it was a crime. They reached that conclusion themselves. Saying, none of those looked like a murder, huh? Weird. That's strange. Doesn't this resolve the Rokkenjima suspicion? That just means that the police couldn't find evidence that it was a crime, right? There's nothing I can say to counter that. It becomes the devil's proof. To expose it as a crime, you would simply need to find evidence. But what could you possibly find to prove her innocence? It's impossible to prove a negative fact. Did Anteva commit a crime, or did she not? Because we can't find any materials that'll let us say for sure, the truth will remain a mystery. That's what you're saying, right? That's it. Phrased in a manner you prefer. That's what it amounts to. It was impossible even for Ava-san to prove her own innocence. On that island, an unfortunate accident occurred, and Ava-san survived by chance. And we don't know any more than that. In short, it all comes down to whether you believe the story of the only survivor, Ava-san, or not. I believed. The ring and her praiseworthy love for her family, and the tears she shed at the funeral. Taking all of that into consideration, I decided to believe her story. But I don't believe. If she wanted to steal the ring, there were probably many ways for her to do it, and no one knows if her relationship with her family really was that good. No one can prove that tears at a funeral are real. Anyway, I hated Anteva from the very beginning, so I don't even want to believe her. Honk. Ha ha ha. How does one view the truth of the crime? You and I on completely opposing sides. Even though the information we're given is exactly the same, we interpret it in completely different ways. This happens often in politics and business. The exact same enterprise will always be assessed in multiple differing ways. Do you know why? Why? It's a question of whether one has love. Whether you feel love for someone or not completely changes how you view them. If a person you like gives to the poor, you respect them for it, right? But if someone you hate starts donating, you fiercely protest that it's a publicity stunt or that they're handing out favors. No matter what they do or don't do, you thank them if you have love and criticize them if you don't. That's how the world works. Can Anteva be trusted, or can't she? You're saying that's all that really matters? Those who suspect her will probably take anything she does or doesn't do and truly see it as something unnatural. And it works in reverse. As for me, I think that, barring certain extreme cases, truth might not exist in this world at all. No, even if truth does exist, whether you believe or not is determined by whether you have love or not. Can you really call truth without certainty truth? Even if Ava-san had been able to show physical proof that she had an alibi, would you have been able to believe it? It's hard to counter that. I hate Anteva, so I'll probably deny any information beneficial to her, and interpret any neutral information in a negative way. In other words, the truth is already decided inside me. So just what in the world is this truth that I'm still searching for, unsatisfied? That's how it is. So, no matter what you hear from me, since you still suspect Ava-san after all this time, nothing will change. At the very least, even if you were to grasp a piece of hitherto unknown information, I don't think you'd be able to reach the truth the way you are now. So I can't reach the truth? After all, no matter what kind of new information or proof you find, Angie-chan, it won't change your stance that Ava-san's the culprit, right? By the way, is the volume good now that it's playing kind of a louder song? Like I said earlier, I turned up desktop audio by quite a bit this time, because I noticed it's still way too quiet. Just at any point, if anything drowns me out, or makes it so you kind of you gotta stretch your ears, listen carefully to hear me, give me a heads up. It's hard to find a good balance. So it's pointless to investigate anything more, because the truth inside of you is already decided. However, if you stop assuming that to be the truth, if you wish to struggle further towards a deeper real truth, there's a single way. I believe I already mentioned it, but do you know what it is? Is it love? I don't really know what you mean. Right now, you're considering this under the assumption that Ava-san's the culprit, but that's no different from looking at something with a single eye. With one eye, no matter how much you squint, you can't see an object in 3 dimensions, right? That's why we have another eye. And of course, it's in a different position from the first eye. You're telling me to look at things based on the supposition that Anteva isn't the culprit, or else that it was a real accident? Yes, that's correct. When thinking about anything, you should always try to look at it from different perspectives. If you don't, you won't understand anything about what's real. It's the same with newspapers. You can't see anything from the single viewpoint of a writer who wrote an article in a single newspaper. Sometimes you can only process information composedly and in 3 dimensions when you read multiple newspapers. It's kind of funny that this guy just comes out of nowhere. He's just talking to Angie, and he's like the smartest person we've seen all game. But unfortunately, we saw what Ava did. So, even though, he says a lot of smart things, he's kind of wrong, unfortunately. It's tragic. Oh, hey, also, we haven't seen these characters in their other art. Whoa, he looks different here. Jeez. Okay. Back to the good art now. Without love, the truth cannot be seen. That right there is Umineko's tagline, by the way. Hasn't come up much until now, but it's like in the anime opening and everything. I gotta get about me and I. It is literally Umineko's tagline. Sounds nice. Wahaha. Baby thought it interesting that such a flashy phrase would pop out of his mouth. For a while, he laughed, looking pleased. At the same time, he was telling me that he said everything he knew, and that it was about time to leave. I understood that and got to my feet. I do understand your feelings, Anji-chan. You should do as you like for a while, until you're satisfied. You were 6 years old at the time. I understand how you must feel after losing your family before you can even understand what that meant, and how you must still be unable to sort out your heart. You may learn the truth, and you may not. Eva-san may be the culprit, and she may be a victim. I pray that you find the truth you believe in, Anji-chan. A journey at such a young age may prove to be a valuable experience. Thank you very much. I'm truly sorry to be such a bother when you're so busy, Okunoki-san. Hey, we got his name. No trouble, no trouble. What are you going to do now? Well, whatever works. I made appointments with several specialists and people related to the crime, and I plan to go visit them. They're specialists just related to this crime. It's like a research topic. I see. I hope you find an answer you can accept. So, I didn't really address it, but Okunogi is from Higurashi. He is just literally a person who was in Higurashi. It doesn't really matter. It's just kind of like a funny thing. It's just the same guy. There's no story relevance. It's not like the characters are gonna go meet the Higurashi characters. It's not that kind of story. But it's just a nice little, almost like continuity thing. It's more like, less of continuity and more like, hey, it really is the same universe. Cool. At that time, company president Okunogi's secretary came in, handing him a memo over his shoulder. He read it, then looked between it and my face. Anji-chan, my apologies that this comes right after telling you to try going on a journey, but I have some information you should let in ear to. Looks like you're in a bit of a nasty fix right now. People after my money? This is why money's stupid. Yes, but if you sell off all the wealth, trying to donate the whole sum to the public welfare, you'll make the eyes pop out of those people optimistic about their chances with your fortune. Oh, the Sumideta family? Those guys act so proud, like they're my guards or something. I haven't forgotten Aunt Ava. There's no way I'll put myself in the care of the Sumideta family. They probably want to, as Aunt Ava often threatened in the past. Cut off my arms and legs, throw me in a warehouse, and suck the Yoshino family's wealth dry. Apparently, a messenger from the Sumideta family is coming here. They're saying to hand you over. No, that they want to protect you. A messenger, you say? It's your aunt. Kirei-san's younger sister. Maybe she told me earlier that she thinks of you as a little sister. She's gonna be joking. Always call me a granddaughter, you old hag. Judging from the context, it seems they have no wish to listen to your desires. I have a car waiting in the parking lot 2 stories underground. Go. The Sumideta family is telling you to hand me over. Is it really okay to let me go? You'll definitely become something big in the future, Anji-chan. Let us call this a favor to be repaid upon your success. Go, quickly. After bowing deeply and silently, Angie left that place at a dash. After watching her leave, the female secretary straightened her glasses and whispered, "The Sumideta family told us to stall her. Is it really alright to let her go?" We did stall her, more than enough. If they still don't make it in time, that's their own fault. I told Anji-chan to run for it. I informed the Sumidetas that Anji-chan will be coming. Whether she's caught or not, I will not be blamed. Everything in this world is love, you see. Don't worry, she'll escape. After all, that child's capable of leaping off a building to shake pursuers. Okunogi looked down again through a crack in the blinds, muttering, "Nope, definitely couldn't do it." Angie wasn't a fool herself. She got off the elevator, but on the 3rd floor. Taxiing the 2nd level of the basement. That's so neat and clean that I don't like it. It's probably better to refuse for now. But my enemies aren't fools either. They're probably waiting in the 1st floor lobby, as well as the underground parking lot. It's such a massive building. Instead of getting anxious and escaping outside, maybe it's better to stay inside and wait it out. No, that's useless. If they get their hands on a security room in a modern building like this, I'll have nowhere to run to. We have not seen Mario become a witch yet, no. Later on. This entire building is like a massive dead end. The 3rd floor is the business floor. A young girl like me will clearly stick out. Trying not to stand out any more than I had to, I walked at a brisk pace searching for an emergency exit. It'd be perfect if that staircase was an outside one. I found the door to the emergency exit. After opening that heavy door, I found the outside staircase I'd hoped for. I bumped into a man who looked like an employee skipping work and smoking a cigarette. After glaring at me, he quickly crushed his cigarette and went away. It looked like there was no one below. If I'm gonna escape, that was my only chance. Just when I thought that, a black car slid right under me and came to a sudden stop with an incredible squealing of the tires. Judging by the sound of tires, it seemed they had several other allies and that one of them had come here to block this path. Umineko would have immediately believed in witches and tried to become one. Umineko would want that. It'd be a very different story. Wouldn't be much of a story. Not bad on Kasumi. I think you'd even send a car to pick up your little sister when she's trying to get out through the emergency exit. Bam, bam. The doors of the car were forcibly opened and 3 black-suited men jumped out, looking up at the emergency staircase. Crap, our eyes met. 12, target found. Northwest side emergency stairs, 3rd floor, in support. Anji-sama, try not to move from there. Forgive our roughness. The 3 of them began to clamber up the emergency exit. They've already announced that they plan to be rough. This is pretty bad. As long as I don't stop breathing, they've probably been ordered to grab me no matter what, even if they've got to rip out one of my arms. Their heavy wild footsteps became a helix and began to rise from the lower floors, getting closer. In the entrance lobby of the building, a woman with 7 black-suited guards behind her advanced at a leisurely pace. Seeing this ostentatious entrance, the security guards for the building ran up to them, asking if they had an appointment. Not typical of Tokyo people. Don't you understand the status of the person you're talking to without her having to say your name? But my apologies. At our company, guests are to take a secure... Back down, scum. I came because I was called by your president. Call Okanogi Tetsuro here. To think he would call me here and then not welcome me. Typical of Tokyo people. My apologies. Welcome to the Ushimura group, Sumida Kasumi-san. With his secretary behind him, Okanogi dashingly appeared from the elevator. Even though both of them wore bold smiles, they were wrapped in attention reminiscent of small gunpowder. Where's Angie? I came to greet that adorable daughter of my big sisters. Strict observance of time is our motto here at the Ushimura group. The former chairman herself said that those who can't keep time can't keep contracts. You called me all the way to Tokyo, and this is all you have to show for it. You let her go, didn't you? Please, she escaped from us. We did stall her for quite some time, but unsurprisingly, she did eventually smell a rat. Of course, this wouldn't have been a problem at all if you'd arrived on time, Sumida-san. Ah, these protocols and their loose concept of time. Ha ha ha. What was that? What did you say to me? You couldn't sense any of Kiria's open frankness in Kasumi's face. She wore the arrogance of the ancient Sumida family towards the ruined Ushimura family, as well as pride because she didn't want anyone to notice that her family was declining so much that they could ignore the Ushimura family's wealth. So, essentially, sum up: Kirie, cool sister; Kasumi, bitch. Terrible person. Even at a glance, it was easy to understand why Angie hated her aunt so deeply. She couldn't stand even a slight insult, and even though she still smiled, her eyebrow twitched. At that time, the black-suited man behind Kasumi whispered to her. Angie-sama has been found. We are currently dealing with her. Oh, I'm glad we made it in time. Thank you, Okanogi. It seems I can finally take my mischievous niece home. I waited so long to talk with that girl in my tea room, with all the tools prepared. Hehehe. As the violent sound drew a helix, it rushed up at me from below, threatening to swallow me up. Of course, even if I fight, there's no way I'll be able to win. And yet, running into the building would be like jumping into a dead end on my own accord. My enemies will increase in number with time. If I don't do something here and now, I won't have any more chances to escape. Three muscular black-suited men came into view below me. 1, 2, 3. 3 people. In other words, everyone who's gotten out of the car. If there'd been just one of them, I might have been able to drop-kick them or something and smash them in the head, which might work out. But it really would be impossible with 3 of them. Wait, 3? If there's just 3, I should be able to make it. I can do it. Take a deep breath. What? You idiot, stop! Look out! Ah. She's really good at jumping off things. If she'd stop worrying about her family, she'd have a great career as a skydiver. 01 calling. 12. Is the package secure? We received a response. What happened? Respond. She's crazy. Damn it. Ow. See? That worked out perfectly, didn't it? There was just the 3 of them after all. I've already tried that once from a higher place. I knew I'd be able to jump down 3 floors. It's a good thing the car that came in was right beneath me. Even though it wasn't as pleasant as a trampoline, it broke my fall. A little gently, a little roughly. How rude. You didn't have to dent that much. I bet Riddle probably knows the name of this one. Leaving a massive dent around my body. Car roofs are surprisingly delicate. I don't think it's because of my weight. Apparently, the 3 people on the stairs hadn't planned on me jumping down. It seemed they now realized that they'd been outwitted, and were rushing down the stairs. I've got to run and escape while I have the chance. I moved my body. It was kind of a jam, making clunking sounds on the car roof. But I'd been naive. Of course they wouldn't all rush up the stairs without leaving one person behind. There's one black-suited man left in the driver's seat of the car that broke my fall. He stuck his head out the window, and when he realized what had fallen on him, he jumped out. In a rush, I jumped off the roof, but the black-suited man's reaction was really fast. Either there was a massive reward for capturing me, or there'd be some harsh punishment in store for them if they let me get away. 15, secured, secured. Ow. Act, don't touch me like that. Let go. I was mercilessly held down against the asphalt. I was being crushed face down, covered and pressed upon from above. It was a hold without a trace of elegance, but it was extremely practical and left me no room for resistance. Ow! Hey! Hey! What is your deal? Hey! Alright, come on, go, go. You are biting. Don't do that, that hurts. I tried to push back with both hands, searching for a way to resist, but I was being pushed down solidly, and I couldn't even tear myself off the asphalt. Then another car came, squealing its tires. Alright, you can stay, but behave, okay? Is it all over now? Yeah. The man that had been crushing me let out a sharp cry. He was yelling straight into my ear, making my left ear ring. What in the world? Along with the black suit guy, I fell with a thunk. After landing face up, the first thing I saw was an arm stuck out right in front of my eyes. Amakusa? What are you doing here? Let's talk about that after we lost them. To the car, quickly, lady. Amakusa grabbed my arm, easily pulled me up, spinning me around with himself as the center of gravity. Just when I thought it was a little like a dance, he flung me through the open door to the driver's seat. Yes, it is on the anime, in fact. Yep, the whole Angie thing is on the anime. Nope, this is our first time seeing Amakusa. And Okanogi and Kasumi. We're seeing, like, all the Angie arc characters now. I climbed up with a handbrake and slid into the passenger seat. Pushing me in, Amakusa also got to the driver's seat. Since we suddenly accelerated while he was still on all fours, I had to kick and struggle around in the chair for a while, like a turtle that's been flipped over. Amakusa checked the rearview mirror for cars and pursuits, but he flew into the artery of the big city without letting his speed in the slightest. Oh, it is weird that they changed that. The number of people chasing it. I don't really know why. But again, there is some stuff in 4 that they flat out just removed. I'll bring it up when it comes up later. It's a great scene. We slowed our way between cars one after another, just like a chase scene in some action movie. I was shaken by this horrible driving and had trouble sitting back down. Are you hurt, lady? I'm fine. Humans are surprisingly durable. Next time I try to escape a downward moving elevator, I'll jump out a window instead. I guess air dives are a hobby of yours, lady. Still, I'd recommend you grab a parachute next time. Frankly, she really could, like, benefit from just having one on her. Sure, if I remember to do it after leaping. Yeah, cool. He smacked the steering wheel, guffawing. This guy's kind of lame. Need an explanation for this flippantly talking man? His name is Amakusa Juza. He was originally one of Aunt Ava's guards. Didn't she start to hate him because he chatted too much? He was much younger than the rest of the guards, but contrary to his outward flippancy, he hopped from the first airborne of the JSDF to the French Foreign Legion, placing himself in overseas private military companies and high-class security companies one after another, making for a pretty incredible and unique career. But I heard he deserted both the JSDF and the French Foreign Legion, and would be arrested if he enters France again. Both of these flippant episodes were very typical of him. The guards were sternly told not to chat with men necessarily, but he came and took a pass at me, didn't he? Aunt Ava was apparently particularly put off by that, and had surprisingly dismissed him surely before she died. It's been a while since I've heard that carefree tone. What happened after you got fired? I was coaching some people at Blackwater. When I came back to the country during my time off, President Okanogi offered me a high wage. So you deserted again? I wonder how a man like that could be useful for anything. Doesn't count as desertion as long as I come back by next week. I talked to them yesterday. I was told that some troublesome people might come to call on you, lady. Fair, that turned out to be exactly right. My name probably came up since I know you, and I've got lots of crazy experience. Thanks to you, it looks like I'm in for a happy vacation, plus some pocket money. So Okanoki-san employed you as my guard. He probably wants to To buy some gratitude from you, lady. After I got fired, I was indebted to President Okanogi in various ways. He's got some dirt on me here and there, and now I can't say no to him. Haha. Seems like getting indebted to Okanogi-san can be pretty costly later on. So, where are you planning on taking me? Anyway, I'm employed until the weekend. Anything after that'll cost you extra. How much per day? I'll take 50,000, plus expenses. If you stop cracking jokes, I'll double it. That's practically nothing. That's $500. That's pennies, considering she inherited the fortune. The period of employment isn't fixed yet. It might take several weeks. That'll be tough. I'll have to call my boss to get his attention on my vacation. More than anything, I want to investigate that day. Oh, is this about Aokejima? Exactly. What happened on the island 12 years ago? I want to investigate it with my own hands to my satisfaction. Do you really expect to find anything new investigating something that old? You know, the Umineko manga is actually worth a lot. It, like, never got a reprint, apparently. Some of the volumes are, like, worth 100, 200 bucks, I think. I only have the very first two, unfortunately. So, they don't sell for all that much. True. But this is a journey for my own self-satisfaction. Once that's over, I'll just throw my hands up and go over to the Sumideta family. Didn't Aunt Kasumi say something about how she wanted to serve me some matcha? Maybe she'll serve me tea as I kneel on sharp wooden blocks, clutching stones or something. There's probably online scans, yeah, but it's never been actually, like, officially released digitally. I don't think, at least. Damn, that sounds freaky. Yeah. It's a bit hard to read, and the anime is kind of a different experience. It doesn't quite... I'm not going to say it ends differently, that's not quite the case, but it ends more, it ends with more clarity. It says a lot more things outright near the end that are less directly stated in the VN. And it kind of, like, eliminates some theories that people were throwing around, pointing a lot more strongly at the main theory, and kind of, like, pushing aside some of the less main ones, but still kind of popular-ish. Like, it pushed aside the theory I was on board with, honestly, which is a shame. My apologies. We lost sight of them. But we're not considering the manga canon right now. I don't know if it is or not. It probably is. But it's okay. We're exploring the VN. I still am interested in, on stream, maybe watching, like, this 10-hour Umineko theory video series, that presents an alternate theory to what the game, and especially the manga, does on stream. I might still do that. We'll see. My apologies. We lost sight of them. Single man thought even an associate assisted in her escape. Real. Shh, 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 shh. No. Too soon. Shh. Kind of reaction stream. Kind of like discussion stream. There's re-uploads of the video. The guy who originally made it isn't around anymore, so I don't really feel bad streaming it, even though it's someone else's content in that case. His channel isn't around. He left, I guess. So, I think probably fine. Judging by his possession of a stun gun and his driving skills, he's no amateur. I see. Thank you. What a shame, Okanogi. Shall I take this as your answer? Letting her get away was your blunder. It has nothing to do with me. I do wish to prepare some matcha for you as well in the near future. The next time you're in Kyoto, please stop by. I'm going. Oh, are you leaving already? I could offer you some chazuke first. Tea snacks. Ho 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 ho. With her back still facing Okanogi, she laughed softly, but with an increasingly shrill and hateful tone, using that as a substitute for a sharp prodding remark. Just as she stopped laughing, her features suddenly changed to look like a demon's, but because her back was facing him, Okanogi couldn't see that expression. Okanogi watched her go, laughing coolly. His secretary whispered over his shoulder. You sure about this? My Lady Anji is our company's primary stockholder. If the Sumideta family becomes our guardian, I get it. But you know, we're the world-famous Ushimitas. We can't let them take us lightly. Still, looks like that guy managed it pretty well. He's obviously not, like, in the family. All that's left is to let Anji-chan do as she pleases. I'm counting on you, Amakusa. Kasumi-sama, the escaping car was a rental. The license plate they displayed was a fake. We're clearly dealing with a pro. They'll probably abandon the car. Pursuit will be difficult. Should we have the police chase them? Yes. Shall we have them search for our runaway daughter? They are getting paid with our taxes, so the police must be of some use every once in a while. Ho 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 ho. When I left the mansion, I boldly told Mother to leave it to me, didn't I? You intend to embarrass me further? It looks like it might be better for me to serve some matcha for everyone at once, doesn't it? Underground tea room is cramped, so you'll have to wait in line. No, we will search with everything we have. She really is a cute kid, just like Nei-san. Especially that way she free wills and does as she pleases. Now I can't see anything but Nason. I'm truly looking forward to it. If only I can invite Nason's daughter to my tea room, right? Oh. Obviously, the implications like the tea room's like a torture room. I don't know if they're like actually Yakuza, but she kind of acts like a Yakuza lady a little bit. So I think they're kind of the equivalent in here, I want to say. There we go. Just doing the half an hour mic replug. Assuming that the family sure moved quickly. Did Okanogi-san sell me out? You're joking. He's my client. If he'd sold you out, you wouldn't have hired me, right? I guess that's true. So that's why you got off the elevator at the 3rd floor. Him having a car waiting in the underground parking lot was just too convenient. I figured Okanogi-san sold me out. Though I guess by now, it's impossible to prove whether there was an ambush set up in the parking lot or not. I see. That poor president guy. Looks like you don't trust him a bit, lady. The car in the basement was mine. Huh? He was talking about you, Amakusa? I freaked when the elevator came and was empty. I wonder what would have happened by now if I hadn't been listening in on the radio. So what's going on? If I'd obediently believed Okanogi-san had gone to the parking lot, there would have been no need for me to do that jump off the 3rd floor. Pretty much, yeah. Well, it turned out okay in the end. Can't trust anyone. Wah wah. The hell. If I hadn't suspected President Okanogi, I could have easily escaped without getting caught in a tough spot. President Okanogi might have sold me out. Now, since Paranoia told me that it was better to assume that he'd sold me out, I supposed and concluded that he sold me out. Because of my inability to believe in him, regardless of his truth, my truth became, he sold me out. I thought back on President Okanogi's words. Can you really call truth without certainty truth? Truth can change completely depending on whether you have love or not. In the end, perhaps truth itself doesn't exist. There are as many interpreted truths as there are people who speak of the truth. If I can't accept something that fluid as truth, where does the truth that I really want to find exist? And is it something I'll be able to see with my own eyes? Even if someone sticks the truth right there in front of me and says it's the truth, I may not be able to see it. I feel like she just really wants to find like a specific truth. She just wants to find out like, oh, my family's secretly all alive. They're just in hiding or something. I feel like she's just never going to be satisfied unless she gets a happy ending to this. And I don't think there really is a happy ending to all of your family dying at once. You know, and the person you suspect might have been their killer is dead anyway. So there's no one to like get vengeance on. Even if you find anything out, you just got to move on. Without love, and it can't be seen, huh? Hopefully pretty soon here we're actually going to get to proper content. This fragment of yours is very lively. It doesn't bore me. You told me something. You commanded me to search for the truth of 12 years ago. But there's something I'm not getting. What's that? What is truth? There's as many truths as there are people. There's as many interpretations as there are people. And those can be twisted by opinions and changed indefinitely. Is truth really that unfixed and vague? That's right. Truth isn't fixed. It can be like a particle or like a wave, and it can hold conflicting forms at the same time. You're free to believe that the cat in the box is alive or dead, but the truth is very delicate. It can change its appearance just by being observed. Wah, wah. I think this is the Wah Wah song. You're talking about stuff like Schrodinger's cat box? You're gonna hear the phrase cat box a lot in Umineko. If it's a funny phrase, that's perfectly fine. If the game ever says Beatrice's cat box, you can imagine Beatrice in a litter box. And you're perfectly justified. Nonsense. If you open the box, you'll learn the truth. Discussion about what happens before you open it is just an armchair theory. That's right. And yet, in order to deny that abstract theory, you need to open the box. She's looking at like the OBS preview. Hey, don't play with that. Leave Goda alone. You freaking cat. Hey. Hey. It is impossible to negate any idea about the contents of a box that cannot be opened. This is what truth is. As long as truth isn't denied, it keeps its form. That's right. As long as truth isn't observed, it keeps its form. I think that tagline was used for like one of the other versions, like maybe the PS3 one or Switch one or something real. I don't think it was the game's original tagline. In other words, if it is exposed, any reckless statement can suffice as truth. Oh, it's for Saku. Okay, cool. I do want to read Saku later. I'm going to do all the side novels too, because I've never read them fully. especially Saku, I'm curious about. I read a little bit of Saku like a year or two back when it was still Japanese, but I never got around to finishing it, and it's probably translated now, so we can read on stream. There's new characters in there, which is really, really weird. Yeah, we'll get that. I didn't really know what to make of it, but I think I was busy with other stuff, probably translations at the time. Yes, even if they contradict each other, endless ideas can exist as truth at the same time without being negated. So even if something screwed up as my family being captured by the Archangel Witch and shut up 12 years ago for eternity, can exist as truth, as long as we don't know what happened 12 years ago. This witch called Beatrice forcibly made room for endless imaginings in the Archangel of 12 years ago, enveloping all of it inside a cat box. Everything inside the unopenable box is truth. That's right. We don't know what happened on the island, so it becomes endless. That's assuming no one opens it up. I just have to wrench it open. But the box was closed up 12 years ago, and I don't even know where it is. Even if I visit Arkanjima, just what can I learn about what happened 12 years ago on that desolated island? It's like the FNAF box. Who knows? I wonder what you could learn. This is something that can only be done by the person who was able to walk around freely in the world of 1998, 12 years in the future. Angie Beatrice. The final witch, Angie Beatrice. Too many Beatrices. Beatrice's game board lasts 2 days, from October 4th, 1986 to the 5th. In other words, you're a piece who can move freely outside her game board, and even Beatrice cannot influence this future that lies outside the game board. If you say it like that, it sounds like I'm a pretty overpowered piece. The future of 12 years later, in which you are placed certainly, is distant. However, the further a piece is placed in the future, the stronger power it holds. I told you, didn't I? The truth changes its appearance when it's observed. Come to think of it, I heard something like that once. Even if one day, all of a sudden, a star in the constellation Centaurus were to explode, the light from that explosion would have to cross 4.4 light years, so it would take 4.5 years to reach the Earth. That's right. In other words, even if the sun at Centaurus has already died, people on Earth won't be able to perceive that fact for 4.5 years. Because no method of perception exists that's faster than the speed of light. When we learn that the sun at Centaurus has exploded, the Earth people will paint over a history of 4.5 years ago with a new truth. We will revise history with a new fact that exploded 4.5 years ago. However, for the 4.5 period until we learn that, despite the fact that it's already died, the mistaken truth that the sun of Centaurus still exists will be able to exist as truth. Hold on, I need more water. I got dry lips, one sec. Okay, I think I'm finally good. Oh, where is Lunasa? Oh, I know why, I can fix that, hold on one sec. There we go. I changed the file name a couple days ago. Because I used that as my avatar and tabletop sim when I was playing something with Brody and the gang. And I changed the file name. And I didn't realize that would break the stream layout, but it makes sense, of course. Thanks for pointing that out. I didn't even notice. Good catch. Just checking something on my server. Okay. The truth of the future wins against the truth of the past. That's right. By itself, the Arkanjima accident gave rise to nothing but suspicion of a conspiracy involving Aunt Eva and the issue of family assets. But later on, it was dramatized and linked to the occult, and the conspiracy was painted over by the legend of the witch. Even though it was clamored over... Is it? Yeah, I guess there's a B in there. Over as a conspiracy at the time of the crime, later on, strange occult theories, which claimed that it was the work of the witch, ran rampant and began to paint over the truth of October 5th, 1986. The conspiracy theories will probably be forgotten over time, and only the more bizarre, impressive witch theory will continue to remain as superstition, eventually covering up the conspiracies. That's right. The false truth that exists before the light from an exploding star reaches Earth is almost like the conspiracy theory, which is a human theory. The wine bottle with a letter in it that drifted ashore several years later, the message bottle, painted over that theory and made things return to the occult theory, which is a witch's theory. And the message bottle is going to come up. It hasn't really been mentioned too much yet. It kind of came up at the end of, I think, episode 3. You know, the one signed by Maria. Interesting, right? Maria sent out a message bottle. I think it said, like, find the truth or something like that. Weird, right? It's really strange. Hey, no. No happies right now, huh? Weird, right? Especially, like, from someone like Maria. That's right. A witch didn't exist during 1986. The witch took control of Rakenjima because she was observed several years later by us humans in the future, thanks to that message bottle. A smaller vision is necessary. The witch could have existed even during 1986, as one of many endless possibilities that can exist. Certainly. She'd disappear if she were observed, so she curls up inside the cat box. That's what makes the message bottle so nasty. The witch tried to get out of the box. She made it so that she'd be observed, reading out possibilities that conflicted with the witch theory. In other words, to make it impossible to negate her, she negated all possibilities other than the witch theory. What the hell? So in other words, Beatrice satisfied the devil's proof with a frontal attack. And that was part of the witch's plan from the beginning. The message bottle is information observed in the future after 1986. It cannot be observed by Beatrice or Bowler. It can only be observed by Angie Beatrice. I really didn't want to investigate the message bottle. After all, reading that would be like listening to the witches say, you mean... Oh yeah, I guess that makes sense. Like, witch's opinion, witch's side, to the witches say. I thought the witch theory was just a crazy fantasy, so I thought of it as nothing more than a waste of time. And you're talking with a witch right now. You're being called a witch right now, so maybe open up your mind a little. Well, Okunogi-san told me. You can't see things in 3 dimensions with only one eye. You mean that while looking at it from the viewpoint of denying witches, you must also look at it from the viewpoint of accepting witches. That's a correct way of thinking. The number of viewpoints is like a denominator. If you have one viewpoint, the mystery in the numerator doesn't decrease in the slightest. However, the more your number of viewpoints increases, the more the mystery begins to be divided. I understand. There was a message bottle that washed up on a neighboring island several years after the crime. That passed to the hands of a dilettante. What does that mean? Dilettante. A person who takes up an art, activity, or subject merely for amusement, especially in a desultory, superficial way. Dabbler. I guess someone interested in the crime, essentially, or the accident. A true crime enthusiast, probably. I made an appointment with him just in case. I was able to hear Aunt Ava say from Okunogi-san. Next up is the witches say. Why don't I listen to Beatrice's say? Uh-huh. What an interesting idea. There we go. Okay, maybe now we're gonna finally get to the game board, which is, in my opinion, always the most fun part. I don't mind the backstory stuff, but sometimes it can take a while. That was in an hour. That was a while. Yes. First day. Dawn of the first day. We're there. We're finally there. We're so back. Okay. Save here too. So I want to see. I don't know if it adds Amakusa and Okanogi. Let's check real quick. Yep. 8 added everyone. I don't know why they're in photos. Oh my god, he looks so terrible. Look at how small he is. Also, wait, hold on. What's up with the shoes? He's got like a... Is that a transparency error? Or does he have like weird skates on the back of his shoes or something? You see that? Like at the lower right there. Sorry, I don't have a mouse on the screen, but it's like gray and orange from the background from Ava's dress sticking through his shoe. Weird. Okay. Anyway. Is there belts? Wait, what? Like on the back of his shoes? I don't understand. No, like his left foot, the one that's on our right, I see those belts, yeah. Okay, hold on. I'm just gonna turn on the mouse so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay. Here, look. Here. You see this? You see this here? On this side? There's like a weird like transparency here. Like there's just a gap there. There shouldn't be a gap there. Oh, I see now. I see the belt buckle you mean, yeah. I mean, he's gonna trip on that. Okay, I don't know. That's so strange. Let's see. It doesn't show his whole body here. But it does give these guys a proper portrait, which is cool, I guess. Okay. Anji's still the same. Sorry, Ava's still the same here. Okay. Back to the good art. 3 months left to live. It was last year when you said that, right, Dr. Najo? I only spoke of what I could comprehensively determine from his physical condition at the time. Yes, it is weird to walk around in a full kimono. That's why I think she's like Yakuza or something like that. As a result, this year too, it just so happens. So even though it's doubtful whether Dad will last until the end of the year, he's still totally focused on his occult research. And you still say he only has 3 months left, Doctor. Like I said, Kinzo-san's... Shouldn't you be happy that a respected father is still in high spirits? Out of a sense of parental respect, each one of you is so eager to greet Father. I can see how upset you are that he's unwilling to meet with you. Considering that everyone has started aiming for the inheritance while the sun is still in the sky, I can understand why Father wouldn't want to see you. You got it wrong, Natsune-san. We just, Dad isn't immortal and he'll die someday. We're not telling him to die, we're just saying that he will die sooner or later. We're just talking together about how to prepare for that. And that is precisely what is so disrespectful. Stop it. It'll make your headache worse. Kraus told Natsui, who had risen from a chair in agitation, to sit down. Trying to smooth over the atmosphere, which had suddenly become filled with suspicion, Hideyoshi put on a forced smile and motioned for everyone to calm down. Natsui-san, don't misunderstand. People say you should always clean up after yourself, right? We're just talking about seeing him off. We're discussing this so we can see Father off neatly when he takes off on the journey he's eventually to make. That's just like you, Hideyoshi-san. Even though you're saying the same thing, you make it sound so intellectual. Yes, that's right. Unlike you, Nissan. Quit it. We aren't getting anywhere. So like we're saying, Aniki, forget all this about the inheritance. I don't even care if Dad hits us. To make a long story short, we want to meet Dad directly and say hello. Even if he says he doesn't want to. If he's locked up in his study, we don't care if we have to borrow a key from Genji-san. Right, Rosa? Oh, well, it's not like we're forcing you. It's just, we haven't said hello to Father in such a long time. If his remaining life really is short, then there's a chance we might never be able to see him again. Today, maybe we'll find an opportunity to exchange words with Father. That's right, just like Rosa says. If he only has 3 months to live, it wouldn't be odd for him to pass away any time now, right? You're saying that despite that, we don't even have the right to talk with him one last time? Regardless of the circumstances, isn't that just a bit too much? If greeting Father were truly what you wish to do, I'm sure he'd happily allow you to meet with him. But Father has already heard about the disrespectful topic you hope to raise. No one would want to meet with you under those conditions. The reason you cannot meet with Father is because of your own doing and nothing else, is it not? Heh. Exactly. You shouldn't have to rack your brains to understand why Father doesn't wish to see your faces, right? Father has seen through all of your tight financial situations. But what are you talking about? I don't have a clue what you're going on about, Nissan. Did you really think I didn't know about the state you're in? Eva and the rest realized that he had seen through to their current lack of funds, and alternating between bluffing and returning to the point at hand and arguing back, he repeatedly pressed Kraus to let them meet with Kinzo. The sweet smell of the black tea Rosa had, gone out of her way to buy, had been completely wasted. The only thing she was glad about now was that the children weren't here for this. The fact that they'd gone to play at the beach right after lunch had been their only salvation. Eva made as though to tackle Kraus, and Hideyoshi and Kirie caught in between them, trying to calm both sides. Then Kirie took a deep breath and spoke. I'm sorry, Kraus-Nissan. I know I'm an outsider, but I wonder if you'd let me say one thing. I have a proposition. What is it, Kirie-san? First, and this includes my husband as well. For many years, we belittled the efforts you made by living with Father and taking care of him. Isn't that right? Well, we've got it easy since we get to go outside, but Aniki's been babysitting Dad for decades now, and that must have been a lot of work. I'll accept that, but what's your point, Kirie? You must acknowledge that Krasny-san is father's caretaker. Isn't that right? We've always feared father, and have pushed the task of caring for him onto Krasny-san. Everyone should acknowledge his efforts. Isn't that right, Ebene-san? So what? Nissan is father's caretaker? Don't decide things on your own, outsider. Hey now, calm down. Kirie-san, what are you talking about? Yep, I can see your message, Izu. I don't see any weird, like, moderation stuff or anything. I think it might be your connection. In that case, that's strange. Hold on. Or it could be Twitch. Weirdly enough, I don't see your message in Mix It Up, like my program, but it shows up in OBS. Your watch streak thing. I know last time I streamed, Twitch seemed to be having some issues. I got disconnected from chat a couple times from OBS while streaming, but my stream kept going just fine. I didn't drop any frames. So maybe there's issues again, for all I know. Kirie, please continue. We should be more grateful towards Krasny-san and Natsune-san. We should thank them for always taking care of father. Just get over my hiccups. It's our lack of gratitude that's to blame for these wasteful conflicts we keep having. Isn't that right, Krasny-san? I'm surprised. I did not think you, Kirie-san, would be able to understand our efforts, which even my true siblings have not stopped to consider. It's a natural duty for the successor to the Umineko family headship. That's right. It's your responsibility as the successor to the headship, isn't it? It's because you take care of father that we must acknowledge you as the successor. Hey, why are you bringing this up by yourself? You're just an outsider. Wait, Aniki. That's right. It's just like Kirie says. Because you take care of dad, you're the successor, Aniki. It's just like you said. Looks like Kirie has some kind of plan. Oh. Rosa noticed and then Ava did. Ava's barking demeanor towards Kirie for advancing the discussion on her own disappeared in a flash. And she instead stared at Kraus and Natsu. Natsu couldn't understand that sudden change and was slightly flustered. Krasny-san, if you'll accept just a few conditions, we won't ask you to let us meet father again until he dies. Of course, we won't demand to be present in his deathbed. We wouldn't even mind being absent in the funeral. Oh? Where are you going with this? But I may as well listen for now. Let's hear your terms. First, the term successor to the headship refers to the caretaker of the current head, Umineko. And then, second, the duty of the caretaker is to look after Umineko for the rest of his life. To make things simple, the caretaker's job is to care for him until his final moments. You were prepared to do that from the beginning, Krasny-san, so that won't cause any problems. Naturally, I have no objections to either of those terms. I'm already carrying them out. Third, on the off chance that the caretaker is neglectful in his responsibilities of supervision, he shall be deprived of his rights as a caretaker. With that sentence, all slack disappeared from Krause's face. Natsu alone was still having trouble figuring out what it meant. Oh, and just what are these responsibilities of supervision that the caretaker bears? Just gonna get the mic again. I just really don't want it to start having static issues during like an important scene. It means supervision so that father can live the rest of his life in the best possible health. I'll be more detailed than that. In the case that father dies anything other than a natural death, the caretaker will be deprived of his rights as caretaker, and his status as the successor to the headship will be lost. If that happens, then at Tyson rank, Ebene-san will be selected as the successor. What did you say? How can you shamelessly speak such nonsense? Oh, my, the caretaker certainly has a heavy responsibility. However, people can die in many ways. For example, senile old people sometimes die when food gets caught in their throats. Normally, this is called death by old age in its broadest sense. But with the argument, that becomes a death by accident, and I bear the responsibility of supervision. This is unjustly disadvantageous to me. I have no intention of forcing such an unfair argument on you. I'm referring to the kind of thing that the caretaker could have prevented beforehand by taking good care of and keeping his eyes on father. It may be the caretaker's job to carry food to father's mouth, but whether he swallows it or not is clearly outside the caretaker's responsibility. I would have absolutely no problems with the example you raised, Krasny-san. Oh? So what kind of case are you referring to that might cause the caretaker to be blamed for making a blunder? For example, if he disappeared. Oh? It seems that right now, Father is in firm control of himself, but dementia might begin to set in. He might wander around when you aren't looking and get into some sort of accident, or he might get lost in the forest and go missing. Wouldn't this type of case clearly be the responsibility of the caretaker? Father's mind is perfectly healthy. There's no need to bring up dementia. One day, suddenly, I saw Father go into the forest. I chased after him, but I couldn't find him. I called the police and searched, but after being able to find him after 7 whole years, I had him declared legally dead. My point is that we won't accept if you use a story like that to treat him as dead. When Father passes away, an autopsy will certainly be carried out, and will confirm that he died of old age in the most general meaning within the bounds of common sense. A death of any other cause will be held as the caretaker's responsibility. See? These are all the things you have toiled away at all this time, Krasny-san. These aren't strange conditions or anything of the sort, right? You're mocking us disgracefully so. I find it hard to imagine why my husband must be coerced into a rule that disgraces him in this way. Actually, I've been suspecting it since last year. You know, everyone here probably suspects it as well. Ebene-san and Hideyoshi-ni-san. Udope-san and Rosa-san too. Everyone has suspected the whole time. I'll have to give in to her, I guess. But it was so frightening to imagine that no one actually said it. I see. So this is what you're trying to say. That Father is already dead, and that I've been hiding it. Ah, that's right. That's one of the theories I thought of as a key to solve the last mystery in the previous game. You mean the very last bit? The mystery of who killed Dr. Nanjo? That's right. The witch definitely said a lot in red. She mentioned the names of all 18 people and asked whether they were alive or dead, and then she claimed that there were no humans besides them. But with this theory, I can weave my way through that gap. I see. So this is one of the answers that doesn't cause those two to contradict. Makes sense. See what I'm saying? You catch on pretty quick. It's nice that I don't have to explain. No 19th person exists on this island, and yet this trick lets us mix in an unknown new character. In other words, the names of all 18 people don't necessarily correspond to the 18 people on the island. That's it. The witch mentioned the names of 18 people one after another, and announced whether they were alive or dead. And on top of that, she announced that there were no humans other than the 18. There was a single illusion in there. It wasn't guaranteed that the names of 18 people equals the 18 people on the island. When she named up all 18 people and announced who was alive and who was dead, she hid the name of culprit X, and instead mixed in someone who wasn't on this island. By doing that, even though the culprit was on the island, she was able to leave him out of the list of living or dead people. The person who was mixed in wasn't actually on the island, so he didn't count towards the total number of people on the island. By this, even though the culprit counted towards the total of 18 people on the island, it was possible for his name to not be listed. The two statements I read are completely independent, so this theory creates no contradictions. If someone's name was used to hide the existence of the culprit, that name must satisfy several conditions. First of all, even though this person isn't on the island, they've got to be someone who we think is on the island. Otherwise, she wouldn't be able to trick us. And it's best if this person happens to be dead. No alibi is more perfect than death. After all, at that point, the mystery was based on the fact that the crime was impossible for all 18 people. Is it something like that? Yeah, that's it. And that person was Grandfather. Right now, there's only one thing Kiriya-san can be about to say. We thought Grandfather was locked up in his study, saying that he didn't want to meet anyone. But there's a possibility that he's actually dead already, and Uncle Kraus is lying when he claims that Grandfather's alive. That's right. Grandfather was closed up in his room the whole time, and no one saw his face. It's Goto. Shut up. Baby was already dead. And Uncle Kraus and the others were conspiring together, trying to trick everyone. If Kinzo dies, the distribution of the inheritance occurs. However, if Kinzo doesn't die, no, if he dies but it isn't announced, the distribution of the inheritance won't take place. In other words, Uncle Kraus could have all of Grandfather's wealth to himself. That's right, he's got more than enough motive. Maybe a 19th person X really doesn't exist on this island, but a person X existed. That person was the 18th person. In other words, there were originally 17 people on this island, not 18. Then, an unknown person X snuck in and committed the crime. How's that, Beato? Come out, I've just solved the final biggest mystery from last time. Deduction time. As Battler claimed that forcefully, the crisp sound of clapping came out of nowhere and the surroundings turned bright, becoming the usual witch's tea room. Bravo, bravo. I wish I could deny that someone as incompetent as you has finally got a feel for it. But somehow or another, you managed to come up with a single answer. Even a lump of concrete can stop thinking. Huh? But stop thinking? I don't know what she's saying. You mean start thinking? So you have now finally evolved into a being with intelligence. You might say that you've finally taken a step forward from the crying creature you were before, just licking my shoes and grinding your teeth. I can't believe that stupid wordplay threw me for so many loops last time. My lameness pisses even me off. Alright, Beato, repeat it. If you can announce that the 18 people in the island included grandfather, just try and do it. Yeah, you can't, because he was already dead. This is the end of your deception. Ah ha ha ha. Well now, what have we here? Shall I slice that in two with the red truth? No, it might also be good to hold back for now and let you get all excited. If I'm going to push you off a cliff anyway, it would be more interesting to lure you to a higher place first. As Beato sneered obnoxiously, she looked like she was searching for an expression that would tick me off more. I don't know if it gets much better than this, honestly. As though she was saying that the answer I'd reached was impossibly ridiculous. Compared to me, annoyed as I was with the witch's attitude, Gretel had a blank and composed expression on her face. Almost as though she'd expected the witch to act that way. I see. Just like how battlers learned and grown, so is the witch. What's wrong, Beato? Don't act so tough. I asked if you can repeat it. Answer. Stop it, Battler. The witch won't answer so easily. She won't do it unless she thinks it'll benefit her. What? What do you mean? You've been toyed with by this red truth in the games up until now, so the witch has used it many times. But now the situation is different. You're trying to draw the red truth out of her, and instead using it as your weapon. In this situation, there's no way the witch will keep firing off the bread without reason. Right? Gretel, or whoever you are, seems your mind is quite sharp, unlike Battler's. What a fearsome enemy I've welcomed in. That is correct. Yeah, I guess, let's see, when did Famicom Detective Club come out? Maybe Angie's played Famicom and Detective Club. Battler's only read novels. Come on, honey, get on. Come on, let's go. That is correct. When Battler hopes I'll use the red truth, do I have any responsibility to do so? No. I don't even have a crumb from that croissant you ate this morning to worth the responsibility to please you. You bastard. Yes, that's the face. I started playing with red truth just because I wanted to see that face. I have no reason to play around if it won't give me a chance to see you look like that. You just don't like losing, right? Just saying whatever you want. Just saying whatever you can to trick me because you can't answer my demand won't work. Don't be so full of yourself. An answer like that could be cut to pieces without any effort. But I won't go out of my way to speak in red. I won't say it because that's what you're asking me to do. It was out for a while then. Do you know why? You just said it. You want to push him off at the sweetest spot. This ill-natured witch is saying she won't use the red anymore because that's what you want. In other words, she won't go along with this game of telling you to repeat things anymore. Exactly. Kinda like Battler, everything goes quickly with this girl, with no need for explanations. I will say what I please with the red truth at the time that I desire. Bathroom real quick, 1 sec. There we go. Wait. Okay. That's it. Basically, it's the witch's right to use the red truth as she pleases. She doesn't have to use it at whatever time the human side desires. But even that depends on the situation. The situation? What do you mean? The witch has no responsibility to respond when you tell her to repeat something. But it does become her responsibility if and only if your claim can destroy the witch theory. After all, in this trial court without a judge, that which is not refuted becomes the truth. Just like how the witch theory made by the witch will instantly become truth if you collapse and stop thinking. Then, since she doesn't have a counter-argument for my guess, that means it's right. It's right that the culprit's the mysterious 18th person X and the grandfather's already dead? At least until the witch argues back. Truth always loses to new truths farther in the future. The tricky part is that even the timing of the counter-argument is up to the witch. Stay hydrated. In other words, maybe your reasoning just now is correct. Or maybe the witch is refraining from arguing back even though you're wrong. Or the witch may be ignoring it because it doesn't shake the basis of the witch theory in the first place. But either way, we can't tell the difference at the current time. Is that more or less it? Haha. Damn you, Lady Bren-Castell, for throwing us such a troublesome piece. Thanks to that, I'm losing all my lines. The witch has learned that she can respond to your demands to repeat phrases at a later time. Maybe you could even call it a delayed move. She's messing with me. So even if I announce a mistaken reasoning, there's a possibility that Beato will intentionally let me flounder about without denying that guess. At the very end, when I propose an even more massive line of reasoning, she can cut it off at the base and spin everything around. Yeah, I think she did this in... It was a 2 or 3, actually. At least once. A single piece of reasoning becomes a bridge to the next piece. By demanding that she repeat lines, I have been able to strengthen my position and advance bit by bit. But since that bastard Beato... I don't know why they keep saying bastard, like, you don't usually use that to refer to women. Just say bitch. Just say bitch, it's okay. It reads a lot more naturally that way. But since that bastard Beato learned this strange delay tactic, I can no longer confirm or deny my reasoning. As is like finally finding a step that'll let me search around in the darkness, only to lose it right away. I'm just stuck now, right? Hey, Battler, if you make a despairing face like that, I won't be able to stop drooling, you see. From the beginning, that stab was nothing more than something I gave you because you were so worthless. All this means is that you can finally challenge me without a handicap, right? Hehe. But that alone doesn't change the fact that demanding that you repeat things is one of Battler's ways to fight back. As already said, as long as it's something fatal that destroys the witch theory, the witch is obligated to argue back, and therefore to speak with the red truth. While the timing of that counter-argument is up to the witch, it must be performed eventually. Isn't that right? That may be so. If I cannot deny the tricks done by humans theory, Battler lays it by the time the game ends, that will use that as reason to deny me, and it'll be possible for him to proclaim his victory. So should we view this as a restriction on the witch's side? That the trick theory laid out by the human side, in other words, what he tells you to repeat, must be counted during the game, during the episode. That is so. Battler's goal is to show that he can explain the entire pleasant game I've laid out on this island with humans and deny me. If Battler succeeds in that, at that time, he will become the victor of this game. Let me confirm the rules. Should we view the time the game ends as referring to midnight on October 5th, 1986? Going by the time of the Archangel in the game, I have no problems with that. At that time the game ends, the human side must state a theory using tricks for all the mysteries, and if the witch side cannot argue back, the human side can proclaim its victory. Does that work? Let's be more specific. When the game ends, the witch side will be given a chance to argue back. Let's decide on an amount of time. 1 minute. If you cannot carry out your counter-argument within 1 minute, victory will be proclaimed. And only to impose the same rule on you. At the time the game ends, the human side will be granted 1 minute to counter the mysteries that have been given. If even a single mystery has not been countered within that time, it becomes the witch's victory and that game is over. It would be such a killjoy to have the game stopped for lengthy consideration, right? You asshole. Moving things along without me. I more or less get what's going on. Even if the lines that demand that you repeat aren't counted instantly, they've got to be counted eventually. Yes, that's right. And that must happen before 12:01 a.m. on October 6th. But be careful. She only has to cut up one of the things you tell her to repeat. You can't proclaim your victory unless you solve all the puzzles. just as I can use the red. From now on, I will allow you to use the blue Battler. When explaining my magical murders with humans and tricks, you may state your claims in blue. I am responsible for countering your blue with a red by the end of the game. Blue. So I'll talk in blue when I tell you to repeat things. It's crazy to think that Battler doesn't get this ability until the 4th VN. I always thought you got it around the 3rd, but it's been a while. Umineko has more than just red text. Not quite. When you told me to repeat lines, you were able to do it for any trivial thing. But the blue is a little more restrictive. Unless it by itself denies witches, it will not be valid. It's starting to get confusing, but it's more or less something like this. For example, let's take one of the riddles in the past where I asked her to repeat something. The actual number of master keys is 5. That had been to confirm that there were really 5 master keys when she claimed that there were no more than 5. But since that by itself wouldn't deny witches, I can't say it in blue. How can I in blue? I doubt it. I mean, I'm sure the word comes up. Don't get me wrong, it's not a rare word by any means. It's not like a daily use word, but I'm sure it comes up. It's all the time in like literature and stuff. But there's no reason it would ever be in blue. Like, it's just an adjective. It's like transient or fleeting. There's no reason like why that would come up in like a factual argument, you know? It's not that kind of word. So in order to speak in blue, I need to say something like this. The actual number of master keys was greater than 5. The culprit entered or outside of the room with that extra key. Only then would the witch, who claimed that this was a closed room murder made with magic, be responsible for making a counter-argument. Some of the red truths are indeed just key or you are incompetent, yeah. Battler is factually incompetent, unless you can deny the witch and overturn the red. In other words, I can't demand that she repeat something that merely confirms the premises of my reasoning. That'll probably be a significant disadvantage for me. Crap. It's enough to make the red Beato use to toy with me until now look extremely merciful. But he's got a new weapon, it's okay. 10. So even if I create a theory for a particular closed room and speak it in blue, if Beato denies at the very end, I don't even have time to create my next theory. This rule's awful, horribly bad for me. Are you gonna surrender before the fight begins again? Calm down. No one said you could only use the blue once for each mystery. Do you know what that means? No. What does it mean? In the pitiful way you've been fighting up until now, you made a single theory, glanced at the witch's complexion, and if that one didn't work, you'd then start making another theory. You don't corner a witch like that. Then how should I fight? You don't mean... Yeah, that's right. You don't tackle riddles with a point. You assault them with a wall. You said so yourself in an earlier game, that the force of your reasoning should be like that. Assault with a wall. That's right. I said so myself earlier. Guessing and trying to expose the mystery is like trying to shoot a distant target with an arrow. Until now, I've just been shooting off arrow after arrow, asking the witch if I scored a hit, and then preparing my bow again once I'm told that I missed. There's no way I'll hit it that right. Bullets might be a better example than arrows. If you take one shot after another at a distant target with a handgun, you probably won't hit it easily. So how can you hit it? If a handgun doesn't work, use a shotgun. Instead of a single bullet, beat her down with a shot comprised of countless projectiles at once. Scott shatters, so it impacts a wide area. That makes it optimal for shooting small, fast targets like birds. That's right, there's no rule that says I have to guess through like a pistol shooting off one shot at a time. Making a single theory and just hoping that it hits is no better than stopping your own thinking. Blast away with a massive number of bullets, of guesses, and make them impact like a wall so that only one of them hitting at the target is enough. Blue, huh? I get it. If your red truth is a razor-sharp katana, then it looks like my blue is a shotgun. No, a machine gun whose firepower will turn the witch into a honeycomb. In Japanese, instead of honeycomb, they usually say beehive, by the way. I don't think I'm getting that backwards, right? Oh, actually, funny enough, apparently it can mean either thing. Oh, right. Actually, no, sorry, what I'm thinking of, let me restate that. In English, we say like Swiss cheese, but in Japanese, they say beehive/honeycomb. Again, I feel like you could localize expressions like that. It's just an expression. Anyway. I see, so it's an awkward gun that fires many shots. That sort of crude analogy is just like you. The climax of a detective novel is always the same. The famous detective gathers all the suspects at once and displays a single trail of logic that works splendidly. Almost like William Tell spectacularly shooting through an apple with a single arrow. That's why I mistakenly took that to be a virtue. It probably would be splendid. If I could shoot through the truth with a single guess. But that isn't realistic. Look at real wars. Did they really have everyone pull long guns out of the trench, aim really well, and take shots at each other one at a time? They don't, right? They fire rapidly. They fire all over the place. They pin down the enemy with a barrage. Reasoning is the same way. Because of that weird virtue, I've been stuck thinking it's better to take one line of reasoning at a time. We humans can fire off countless guesses and possibilities. The bullet is the power of imagination. Suspicion of thought is a clogged barrel. The pathetic way I've been reasoning up until now is like a pea shooter. I've been so lame, weakly firing off shots, being them denied and read, and then taking the next bullet and reloading. My blue truth, which claims that humans and tricks are what's real, will overpower its target, the illusion told by the witch, with its firepower and the force of what I can imagine. This is my Ushino no Battler's fighting style. Thanks to you, I figured out my true fighting style. Thanks, Gretel. You're welcome. Makes me think of how pathetic I was before. Yeah, it's like Beato said. I've had a handicap up until now. I'll acknowledge that. New rule understood. I have my own way of fighting. I'll show you it. That willpower is good. I like it. Then try using it right away, this blue truth of yours. Yeah, I'll use it. With this blue truth, I'll break apart your witch theory, which states that only a witch culprit was possible because everyone had alibis. This is my truth. Yoshimura Kinzo is already dead. Therefore, the true number of people on this island is 17. By adding an unknown person X to that, it becomes 18 people. By supposing that this person X exists, the crimes will be possible even if all 17 people have alibis. I guess I should start adding this stuff. Oh god, I need to make a blue truth and a red truth text. Okay, hold on. Okay, here's the old red truth text. Let me see, is this... Make sure this is the right thing. Yeah, I guess that one, alright. This will be for red text, let me just blank that out. Red text goes here. Make a blue text. Let's see. Red truths. Copy. Paste. Have that one go to blue truths. Blue text. Blue text goes here. You know, I hate OBS. It's really stupid. Like, if you copy and paste something, it like copy and paste it the wrong way. It does like a reference. Like now both of these go to the same thing. You need to like make a new thing. Or rather, I can like copy, but you need to like duplicate instead of reference. And it does reference by default. I don't know why. Sometimes you do want that for like maybe a webcam or something. But not right now, I don't. I feel like you shouldn't be the default. Alright, okay. Red truth is up there. Set that one to red text. Not red text 2. We don't need red text 2. I'm just gonna delete that. Who cares? Red text. Wings. Yep. Sounds right. I think the ending song to 4 is called Tsubasa. Funny enough as well. It's really good as voice. Vocals, rather, is the correct term. Let's see. Okay, let's make this... I guess this blue, maybe? Okay, there. Okay, alright. I'm gonna put blue text up at the top and red text lower down, I guess. Because Beatrice has to respond to it later, right? I know this is gonna get a little bit messy, just bear with me here. Also, I should make this brighter because Balor's is a bit brighter than I remember it being, I guess. Let's see. Something like this works. Whoops, that's... Damn it. I don't want to change the background color now. Change the actual text color, please. Right there, yeah. Okay. Isn't that? Yeah. I thought it was... What? Okay, whatever. I'll just use my blue color. That's saved. Okay. Alright, let me type all this nonsense in here. Yoshimura Kinzo is already dead. Therefore, the true number of people on the island is 17. By adding an unknown person X to that, it becomes 18 people. By supposing that this person X exists, the crimes will be possible even if all 17 people have alibis. 2 exclamation marks. Just for correctness, I guess. I'm gonna say this is just from Battler. Just in case, I suppose. And we can hide those again for now until they come up. Good, okay. Okay. I'm glad I would have played the song for a bit. Glad I didn't click. Back to the game board. In short, if you keep preventing us from meeting with Father, we will have to accept the following theory. Simply put, Father is already dead. But you're hiding that because you don't want the inheritance to be distributed. Ridiculous. That is correct. This is worse than ridiculous. I've never heard such an insult. It'd even be possible for us to check by force whether he's alive or dead, with the police there to witness it. Isn't that right, Ibane-san? Yes. That's right, Nissan. There are all sorts of ways we could set you up. We could easily arrange for a situation where you'd have to hold a meeting with Father under the supervision of a third party. Still, I think that would bring a lot of shame to the Ushimura family. That's why I'm making this proposal. Here we have the responsibilities and duties of the caretaker, and a penalty in the worst case scenario. If you consent to those terms, we'll be able to refrain from doing something like that. Doing something like dragging Father outside. Yeah, that's right, Aniki. Didn't you just say it yourself? You're carrying out your natural duties as Dad's caretaker. Kirya's conditions shouldn't be anything to worry about, right? Why this overreaction? Are you really that worried about having the position of successor dragged out from under you if Dad dies from something other than a natural death? Or else what? Do you have some reason to think Father might die something other than a natural death? How could I? I see. Now I too understand how Father feels. How pitifully his later years have been for him, unable even to die as he pleases. Yes, his later years truly have been pitiable. And the thought that these later years are already something of the past is exactly what we're suspecting. You could completely clear the suspicion right away by letting us meet with Father. So, even after being humiliated by us this much, you still won't allow us to meet with him, Krausny-san? Father is probably already dead. The corpse may have been disposed of in absolute secrecy. And after taking all the wealth for yourself as Father's agent, you'll make it seem that he disappeared until 7 years pass, making Father a corpseless member of the deceased. I'm sorry, but please don't take it badly, okay? I'm just playing a detective here. How rude can one be? You have no right to stay in this mansion. Leave immediately. I won't permit you to cross the threshold of this house again. It worked last year, but you used up your luck if you thought it'd work this year too. Father is in a bad mood, so he can't meet with us? I was plenty suspicious last year, and yet you're doing it again. If you really wanted to fake being Father's agent and grab up all his assets, you should have done it a little more speedily, making him disappear without waiting for today's family conference. You really are naive, Kraus Oni-sama. Why is it suddenly Oni-sama instead of Nissan? I have no idea what you are. However, if it's the fact that Father's in a bad mood, and you're preventing us from meeting him as part of your responsibilities as caretaker, then it's a very wonderful thing you're doing. In that case, if you just accept our conditions, everything will be settled here and now. After all, you care so greatly for Father, Krausny-san. There's no way Father will die in a manner that leads to trouble during the autopsy. After all, Father hates hospitals, so he'll pass away in his study, right? An autopsy will certainly be carried out no matter what happens. The only way to kill him without an autopsy would be for him to disappear. Enough, Kirya-san. I think you bullied Nissan enough. Eva rebuked Kirya in a sickeningly kind voice. Considering the situation, that was impossible, which is why it was sickening. I'm sure Nissan has his own difficulties to worry about, as well as his pride. True, Nissan might consider that one of his natural duties, but if you force him to put it on paper and assign penalties, I could hardly blame him for getting upset. Don't you agree, Rosa? Yes, that's right. She might have made light of Kraus Nissan's pride as the eldest son a little too much. I'd feel bad for him if we had to force him into signing a statement regarding the duties of the caretaker, as Kirya-san has laid them out. That's right. You're doing a good job, Aniki. Taking that into account, we might consider avoiding all that about signing strange papers and worst-case penalties, and leave everything to you. You people. Not just Ava, but Rudolph and Rosa as well, with unnerving smiles on their faces as though they'd planned this beforehand, began closing in on Kraus. They now understood perfectly how Kirya had cornered Kraus, and exactly where she was prepared to compromise. We were talking about a signed statement regarding the responsibilities of the caretaker. But even without signing such a thing, you can make it so that we'll never demand a meeting with Father again. If you can prove your fitness as Father's caretaker with a form of guarantee other than a signed statement, that is. Are you telling me to pay security money? Hilarious. Wahaha. The security money will be paid to Ava-san, Rudolph-san, and Rosa-san. 3 billion yen each. As a deposit, you'll transfer 10% of that, 300 million yen, before the year's out. 9 billion. I don't have that kind of money. After Father passes away, you should be able to work it out. We've managed to investigate at least that far. You should be able to handle the deposit of 900 million yen in your current financial situation. And it should even be possible for you to borrow it from Father, right? There's no need for obvious charades anymore. How unpleasant. Truly unpleasant. It is at that. Even just the discussion of Father's inheritance was far too disrespectful. Father is already dead. My husband is hiding that and keeping all the money for himself. I've had enough of this. None of you are qualified to bear the name she made any longer. Calm down, Natsu-san. We've all said what we need to. Why don't we leave it at that for now? This is happening all of a sudden and on a massive scale. We might even be getting agitated ourselves. Why don't we take a break for a while and cool our heads? Krasny-san probably needs a little more time himself. Right, Krasny-san? Time? And why would I need something like that? Don't worry, don't worry. We aren't thinking of anything shady. We're just so eager to see Father we've started grumbling a bit. And Krasny-san, I know really well how you're dying to get back at us for the things we've said. If you're willing to go so far, then you just need to let us meet with him, right? Isn't that right? You just got a bit stubborn and it felt awkward to say to let us see him after saying we couldn't all those times. Isn't that it? I love that even Hideyoshi's getting in on this. Right? It certainly does seem that my husband has lost his composure slightly, just like the rest of you have. We are only refusing stubbornly out of respect for Father's desire not to meet with everyone. Indeed, that's right. It was turning into another sibling fight like the old days, and I started feeling stubborn as well. Let us cool our heads. I understand how much you all want to meet with Father. I'll pass that on to him. I'll find someone to convince Father to meet with you. Will that do? Yeah. I think it'd be okay to give Krasny-san some time to persuade Father. Yep. We're counting on you, Aniki. Please persuade him to meet with us. After all, you're Dad's caretaker. And as for persuading him, let's set a limit on it to sometime tonight, okay? When tomorrow comes, we'll confirm Father's well-being, even if we have to break down the door to his study. You have no problems with that, I take it? Nissan? Do as you like. I see. It seems even the time I've been given to persuade him is short. Let us go, Natsu. We shall ask him to join us for dinner at least. Right. Grass left the parlor with Natsu. Once the footsteps disappeared, Hideyoshi took a deep breath, smirking and flopping out of the sofa. Said forestering with some big stakes. If this theory is correct, this kind of breaks everything up. But I mean, we've been seeing Kento this whole time, so what's that really mean, you know, for the narrative? I don't know. Kia-san, you're a frightened person. Sorry for speaking out of turn. I apologize. No, you didn't court him like we'd originally planned, but in the end, this was even better. Just like always, I'm gonna bow my head to you. But can you really prepare 900 million? I believe we estimated that 750 million would be the most Krasny-san could afford with his current financial situation. Isn't 900 million gouging too much? If you can't do it, that's fine too. If we do something like lowering it to 750 million, so Krasny-san can save face, it'll look like we're compromising, it'll be easier to settle, right? And if he really does come out with a 900 million, that's even better. Nissan is probably having a strategy meeting with Natsu-san about now. It really will be interesting to see what kind of twisted logic our proud Nissan comes up with as an excuse. Convince Father? There's no way he can. There's no way to convince someone who isn't even there. Love this part. Really, really good. I need to refill my water. 1 second. The siblings have all come, despite their various circumstances, for this annual family conference. Kraus and Natsuki could be seen in Kinzo's dimly lit study. Every once in a while, thunder could be heard, and the dimly lit room flickered with light. It seemed that the island would be closed off by the storm very soon. Father, please, just this once, show these disrespectful people the majesty of the head. It's useless. Dameda. Zen zen dameda. The large shadow of a person standing by the window, his majestic back facing them, answered quietly and forcefully. He hung his head and shook. Eventually, they could hear a mumbling laugh over his shoulder. It's useless. It's all useless. Wahahaha. 2 months left to live? An almost finished geezer? To whom exactly you're referring? Looks pretty alive to me. You fools! Did you wander over here because your siblings threatened you? No, you shame. As Kinzo turned and brushed his cape, it flashed forcefully through the room's stale air. That air pressure truly signified Ushimura Kinzo's majesty and willpower itself. After being blown back by the wind, it wasn't strange that Kraus landed on his butt. As though showing consideration for Kraus, who looked as though his legs had been swept out from under him, Natsuki also crouched down. Then, with a thunk, thunk, Kinzo's footsteps approached with heft that signified his dignity. Father. You fool! I heard from Cannon. Just how far did you pathetically let your siblings lead you around by the nose? But father, my husband is doing his best to protect your honor. Without lending an ear to Natsuki's words, Kinzo extended his palm to Kraus's collar as the latter sat on the floor. No, he curled his fingers, leaving only his pointer finger out, then took that finger and pressed it up against Kraus's collar, twisted it, and slowly, with just one finger, picked Kraus up into the air. You really are a pathetic fool. You let your wife speak in your defense? If you have an excuse, give it yourself. Yeah. Kraus caught at the air. Kinzo's brawny finger was choking him. He couldn't even open his mouth, much less talk. However, even if he'd been able to open his mouth, as he was now, there was no way he'd be able to think of an excuse that Kinzo would accept. Still, how could this power be ascribed? No one would call Kinzo an old man after seeing this superhuman strength. Father, my husband is fighting in his own way. Please forgive him. Natsuki. Fighting is a process you go through before winning. The process you go through before losing isn't called fighting. That's called being pathetic. Wahaha, you call this my successor? Wahahaha. As thunder roared, Kinzo laughed heartily as though nothing could be more pleasant. And when he finished laughing, he threw his set away like he was scrap paper, slamming him against the wall. How does he do it? Wah. Dear, are you okay? Kraus slid down the wall, rubbing his throat as though in pain. Natsuki ran up to him and looked after him. But without showing any interest in the two of them, Kinzo returned to the space near the window, as though he'd been there the whole time, and looked up at the thunderclouds of misfortune. I thought I would have no regrets in my life, if only I could beat Beatrice. But it seems it won't go so smoothly. It was promised from the beginning that nothing received the witch would remain. Or the Ushimura name is not the property of the witch. Who is fit to succeed that name? It seems that this alone must be resolved by my own hand. Rejoice, Kraus. I have changed my mind. Father? So? I have no desire to have dinner with you cowards. However, I will attend the family conference afterwards. Father, thank you very much. There, I shall make a great announcement regarding the succession of the head. I'll resolve your foolish quarrel myself. Haha. Shit, Kinzo's gonna leave a stoop. Oh my god. No way. He's gonna make headlines for sure. What's gonna happen? Ooh. Captain. Forcefully opening the door with a clunk, Rosa flew in with Mario. Is Genji-san or anyone there? Doesn't matter who, bring us a bath towel. Okay, but hi. There's already a full-blown typhoon outside, and it was starting to pour down hard. Even though she'd had an umbrella, Mario had been in the rose garden usually say amidst all that wind and rain the whole time. She had grown ice cold. Mario had gotten into a minor fight with Rosa in the rose garden, and had been told to stay there. She had done as she was told and continued to wait in that spot even though rain was pouring down. Yeah, we see this every time. Rosa certainly had gotten a bit emotional and angry, but Mario's stubborn whim was probably more to blame. The cousins, who had seen that exchange, were relieved to see that mother and child were close to each other again. And not dead this time. Cool. Rosa scrubbed Mario's head with a towel. She seemed overcome with worry that Moria had caught a cold, but Moria herself was nonchalant. You doing? Are you okay? You didn't catch a cold, did you? Maybe we really should go back for now and get a change of clothes. Ooh, I'm just fine. More importantly, I'm hungry. So food's better than changing clothes. Ooh. Ah, she looks okay, Aunt Rosa. She's gotta be, if she's this spirited. It's a really good thing she had an umbrella. I was thinking she might be soaked to the bone. The fact that she had an umbrella certainly is a silver lining. But Maria, even if you have an umbrella, you've got to get to shelter when it starts raining so hard, okay? Little girls definitely shouldn't let their bodies get cold. Ooh. It's okay, Jessica-chan. It's Mama's fault for telling her to stay there. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. Whoa, is this the Rosa redemption arc? No. Trust me, no. It is not the Rosa redemption arc. Ooh, I'm a good girl? I'm a good girl for doing what Mama said? I stayed there even though it was cold. Stayed there until Mama came. Ooh. Yes, you really are a good girl, Maria. You did exactly what Mama said. Very well done. But next time, even if Mama tells you to do something, find some shelter if it starts raining like that, okay? Promise, Mama. Ooh. Promise, Mama. Ooh. As Rosa gently held Maria, they joined their pinkies together and promised. That one of the others realized that by touching their mother's pinky, the warmth had started to return to Maria's body. Kennen-kun, thanks for the towel. That really helped. Then, if you would excuse me. As Kennen bowed with a blank expression, as though he'd done nothing that required gratitude, he left the parlor. Okay, it's already dinner time. Let's all go together. I'll even give Maria a dessert for being so good. Ooh, really, Mama? Ooh, get dessert. Ooh. Love Mama, love Mama. Hey, Maria, don't jump around. Mama loves you too, Maria. Love Maria, love Maria. Ooh. I love Mama too, love Mama. Ooh. Wow, she's even going along with the oohing. Rosa and Maria looked really, really close. Even the cousins who watched started to feel a long-forgotten warmth fill up their chests. Oh, were you not ready for the head nosebleeds? It's okay, bud. It's okay. See? Yeah. Yeah? Captain, you're a weirdo. You come up, sniff. It's okay. You know, that might be the age when you're on your best terms with your parents. It wasn't like that for me. Mom was always yelling at me to study, study, study. That's because they love their children. My parents' love isn't always gentle and indulgent. My mother was strict with me too, but now I realize that it was because she treasured me so. Ooh. Love Mama, love Mama. Love Maria, love Maria. So, shall we get some food? Let's be friends and hold hands. Ooh, be friends and hold hands. Mama and me, friends. Yes, that's right. Mama and Maria are friends. We'll always be like this. I love you, Maria. What's going on all of a sudden? They're getting along. What's up? The sudden sound had come from the teacup Gretel had been holding, which had fallen and smashed. Sorry, I got careless. Sorry for dropping it. The cup on the floor had smashed to pieces. But it really made such a sound and smashed to pieces just by being dropped from that height. Even someone as thick-headed battlers could realize that she was in a bad mood over something. But he couldn't understand why she'd suddenly grown so displeased. When she made to bend over and pick up the fragments of the cup, Runaway appeared out of nowhere and stopped her. You will injure yourself. Leave the cleaning up to me. Shall I bring you another cup of black tea? I don't need it. I guess a demon's black tea just doesn't match my tastes. Oh, to think there's someone whose tastes aren't satisfied even by Runaway's tea. I must respect your discerning palate. I'm getting bored, so I'll go out for a second. Bored? Wait a sec, this is where things start to get interesting. About now, Maria's probably going to say that she got an umbrella and a letter from Beatrice again, right? This is the essential part. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm counting on you to clean this up. Leave it to me. Without saying anything else, Gretel disappeared of her own accord. Her form literally melted and disappeared into thin air. There was definitely a displeased expression on her face, but neither Battle nor Runaway, and of course not Bad Weather, could understand why her mood had so suddenly worsened. All that remained was the scent of the black tea she'd spilled. Hey. I don't like it. No, to be more blunt, it disgusts me. Ooh? Why are you so irritated, Angie? Why, you say? Isn't it obvious? Ooh, I don't understand. Even Mario Ne-chan, with that blank expression on her face, irritated me. As I held my hands palms up in the empty air, from out of nowhere, a single book landed on them. It was Mario Ne-chan's diary. Even though I didn't turn the pages were flipped through despite there being no wind, and the door to Mario Ne-chan's world opened. Why do you think I'm not happy, Angie? Think about it objectively. By objectively, you mean from your viewpoint, right? Are you trying to say that the truth is different from me and you, Mario Ne-chan? Truth can change its form depending on the observer. Observers from the future always overwrite that form. Angie, what are you trying to do to my happiness? The pages of the diary were flipped through at greater and greater speeds. Then, a brilliant light poured out from the depths of the diary, swallowing everything up and painting over everything with white. Just let her have her happy past. Maybe we can just pretend that there was a Rosa redemption arc, right? If we say it happened, it happened. As long as everyone agrees. Sorry, Mari. Mom has to take her some urgent business piled up, so I need to stay holed up at the company for a while. I probably won't be able to come back home until late at night, the day after tomorrow. Ooh, then what about your promise to go to the movies with me on Sunday? The movies? Judging by Rose's tone, she had clearly forgotten that promise. But Maria's response to that was an apology for asking. I'm sorry. Maria apologized for troubling her mother by asking that question. I'll stay home. I'll definitely wait patiently. I'll take a bath every day and change my underwear. I know where the money is. I'll go to a different store every day. I'll try not to go out too late. If a policeman asks, I'll say I'm running errands for Mama. I'll do what Mama says, like Mama says. That's right. You really are being a good girl. If I do that, I'll buy you a present, okay? Go to bed by 9 p.m. You mustn't tell the teacher or any adults that Mom isn't coming home, okay? Yes. So Mama, do your best at work. Do your best, finish your work, and come back as soon as you can. I won't cry all night and annoy the neighbors anymore. So come back quietly. Come back quickly. Well then, I'm busy, so I'll hang up. Be a good girl and wait. Don't do anything you shouldn't. Goodbye. So for anyone who was hoping for the redemption arc between Rosa and Maria, close your ears probably for the next little bit of time. With a tone of finality in her voice, Rosa hung up the phone without waiting for Maria's answer. Maria politely set down the receiver and returned to the sofa. There sat the stuffed animal Sakataro, with whom she'd been watching TV until a second ago. Sakataro was holding the remote control to the TV. The TV had been turned off because of the phone call. It looked like he was telling her to push the switch because he wanted to watch TV again quickly. Sakataro, wanna watch TV? Would you? You don't want to watch anymore, Mario? If the actors team gets all the questions right, they can still make a huge comeback. Would you? No. That's enough, TV. Again, Mama was busy with her work and didn't come home. Mama works so much overtime that she doesn't come home until late. Because she has dates or something. She always comes home after drinking a lot of alcohol, even though she's not good at drinking. And with a pale face, she'll go straight into the shower and then to bed. And because she has overtime even on the weekends or something, she says she has to spend the night there and almost never comes home. Recently, she started saying something about how she's got a big job she's working on, so this sort of thing happens a lot. The pictures I did my best on during drawing time were laughed at by everyone, but even so, I wanted to show them just to Mama. Once again, she wouldn't be able to look at them for me. And I could talk about the time everyone pushed the job of cleaning up onto me, but I did my best by myself and was praised by the teacher. Or the time I went shopping, and the man at the shop said I'm always such a good kid and gave me a free can of coffee. Then there was the time I wanted to encourage Mama because she worked so hard on the job, and hid a card for under her pillow. There's a lot of other things I wanted to talk about. Mama's working really hard at her job. She's working with all of her strength so that we can eat every day. I hate her job. If only she'd just quit. A job is an important thing for adults to do. It lets Maria eat, buys clothes, pays for school lunches, and pays the deposit for summer camp. All that happens because Mama works and earns money. Of course, Rose would be the kind of mother to send Maria off to summer camp and get rid of her for a month. I don't need food, don't need clothes, don't need school lunches, and don't want to go to summer camp. It's not like any of the groups will let me join in. Would you? Just now, on the phone, Mama promised that she'd buy a present when she comes back from work, right? I think she made the promise because you're important to her, Maria. And she'd feel bad if she made you lonely. You think so? We never see Maria this pessimistic. Would you? It definitely isn't a pain for her, or annoying, or anything. Mama also wants to be by your side all the time, Maria. It's also painful and sad for her since she can't do that. I remember when she spent the whole night by your side crying. Yeah. I didn't understand why she was crying, but she was so sad, and I couldn't do anything but stay silent by her side. I remember the last thing Mama said then. She said, "Thank you, Maria." She said that just by being by her side, you were her only ally in the world. Do you remember? Yeah, I'm her only ally in the world, she said. Sakura set the remote control on the table, crawled up onto the sofa, sat in my lap, and spoke to me, gazing into my eyes. I'm sure Mama feels the same way you do, Maria. The designs Mama draws are the only ones laughed at by her clients. Only Mama's company has troublesome jobs pushed onto it by other companies. Mama's the president, so she has to take care of everything by herself. Only Mama's company never gets included in the business of other companies. Mama's only ally is Maria. If you tell her to stop doing a job, where in the world could she find an ally? Sakutaro. The only person I have in the whole world is Maria. The only person Mama has in the whole world is Maria. What about you, Maria? I've got Mama, and I've got you too, Sakutaro. So Maria, you aren't lonely at all. Would you? Ooh. Since Mama's busy with her work, she can't be together with you very often. Please, don't blame her for that, Maria. In exchange, I'll always be here. We'll be by your side forever. So don't cry, okay? Would you? Can't your sadness be stopped if I'm with you? Ooh, Sakutaro. Ooh. Wow. In the corner of Maria's heart, which she'd been doing her best to seal up, drops of sadness finally dripped down. Even though weekends when Mama didn't come home weren't that rare of a thing, it wasn't as though that night was particularly painful or sad compared to other nights. And yet, Maria's tears poured down. Would you? Maria, don't cry. I'll always be with you. Even if you cry, Maria, I won't. I'm a lion cub, so I won't cry even if I'm lonely. Even though I want to cry too, I won't. Why won't you cry, Sakutaro? Even though you're so sad that you can't hold back your tears, you won't cry? Would you? But if I cry, it will make you feel better. So I won't. After all, I want to get your spirits up. If I get my spirits up, will Mama come back? When Mama comes back, if she's welcomed by a happy Maria, I'm sure she'll be happy. Would you? Mama will be happy? Would you? If you do that, then I'm sure her fatigue from work will also be healed. Then, I'm sure she'll start feeling better sooner and will play with you a lot. When you come home and Mama's waiting for you there, and she's in the kitchen in high spirits, don't you feel really happy? I'm sure Mama feels the same way. So if I watch over the house in high spirits, Mama will be happy too? Would you? Sakutaro nodded deeply with his big head. The tears couldn't stop falling from Maria's eyes. The stuffed toy turns into an anime boy actually, but it won't be for a little bit. I'm not sure. It might be like any time, honestly. If she greeted Maria with a tear-stained face, Mama would probably get sad too. You know about it, Maria. You can't use the magic that creates smiles if you aren't smiling too. Yeah, I know. So I won't cry anymore. Hey, Maria, I have an idea for how to have a fun time. Would you? Want to hear it? What? Mama won't come back until late night Sunday. So let's have a pajama party and keep it a secret from Mama. A pajama party? Until you get tired late tonight, eat candy and drink soda in bed and play with me. A pajama party? Yeah, sounds fun. I don't have to go to bed at 9, right? Mama won't get mad if I don't sleep. This is a secret between me and you, only for when Mama isn't around. So tonight, until you get sleepy, let's have fun the whole time. Let's eat jelly beans and try to guess what color we'll get next. Let's split open peanuts and try to guess which half is the grandpa. I guess bigger half? I don't know, must be a thing to do. Let's search for treasure in the closet, and more and more. I wonder what it'll taste like when we mix cola and melon soda. Ooh, I wanted to try it once, but I asked Mama if it was okay and she got mad. What do you? Let's keep it a secret from Mama and try it out. Tonight, let's play a lot, laugh a lot, and blow away our tears with happiness. Don't worry, it'll definitely be fun if I'm here. I'll definitely make you happy, Maria. Yeah, it'll definitely be fun if Sakutaro's there. I'll definitely be happy. Thank you, Sakutaro. I won't cry anymore. Let's play all we can, get happy all we can, and say welcome back when Mama gets home. Would you? Tonight, let's play a lot and feel a lot better. Let's have the kind of secret party we can only have when Mama isn't here. If we're noisy enough, I'm sure plenty of friends will come to play with the land, from the land of the looking glass in Wonderland. Then we'll have so many friends that we won't be able to get bored. Would you? Would you? Then, Maria began her pajama party all alone with Sakutaro, having fun late until the night. She played by sticking her hand into the bag of jelly beans without looking, trying to guess which color she'd pull out next. Sakutaro had good intuition and got it right a lot. Maria also had a brilliant streak where she guessed right 4 times in a row. The game where she split peanuts open and tried to guess which was the grandpa was easier than guessing the color of the jelly beans, so she got it right a lot. Sucking her salt-covered fingers wasn't polite, but that was the yummiest part. She liked both cola and melon soda on their own. She hoped that by mixing her 2 favorite drinks, there might be a flash of light like alchemy, and a new drink that no one had ever tasted before would be created. She got excited about how, if it turned out really delicious, she'd call it Sakutaro soda and sell it. But I'd expected it had a weirder taste that she didn't really hope for. And the color was somewhat dull and thick. Maybe I shouldn't have been that surprised that black and green mixed together would make this. Too bad. I imagined that it'd become a sparkling pineapple color. The feeling of trying to perform alchemy as a child and having it fail. I mixed together like a bunch of shampoos as a kid. And, like, you know, when I washed my hair with it. And I just got it in my eyes. Yeah. It didn't do anything special. It just got shampoo in my eyes. But it was an awesome, incredible, fun night. If it's this fun here, maybe Mama will feel like coming home and drop by out of the blue. So I got the feeling that Mama might suddenly come home and went to the front door many times to check. But there was no way Mama would be able to come home when she was this busy with work. But rather than a feeling of loneliness, it felt still a little disappointing that Mama couldn't join in this fun late night party. Sometime soon, I'll do this when Mama is around and let her join in. Mama likes some things I don't think are yummy, so maybe she'll really like Sakutaro soda. When Mama comes back tired, I'll serve her some. And more than anything, I want to at least write about this fun night in a letter and tell Mama about it. So that these feelings of happiness will reach Mama too. Her work is always so tough and she comes home so tired, so I hope I can share this happiness with her. Mama will almost certainly come home tired late Sunday night, and I hope I can brighten her day even just a little by sharing this happiness. I gently placed that letter on Mama's desk. To Mama, good job with your work again today. Let me share my happiness with you. From Maria. Aww. Then I decided to give a present to Sakutaro for proposing this wonderful party. It was a small red muffler I found when searching for treasure in the closet. Still very young, Mama knitted this tiny thing. Maria was embroidered on it with knitting wool. I softly wrapped that muffler around Sakutaro. It really suited him, accenting his yellow with red very well. You, does it look good on me? Sakutaro looked embarrassed as he wore his first present ever. Yeah, it really looks good on him. Ooh, Sakutaro, thank you so much for everything. It was so fun tonight. I can't even remember why I was crying. Let's be together from now on, and let's always play and laugh together. Who do you? Love you, Maria. Me too. Love you, Sakutaro. Aw. After playing so wildly, Maria's room was a mess. Maybe she played a little too much. But I'm tired for today, so let's sleep together. And tomorrow, we'll clean up together and welcome Mama with a clean room. Alright, Sakutaro? What do you? See? No. We are so happy, right? Is this your happiness, Mario Ne-chan? Yeah, I'm happy. Even though you were looking forward to that movie so much, and Aunt Rosa promised that she'd definitely take you, she completely forgot. She just happened to forget because she was so busy with work. Even if she remembered, with her work, there'd be nothing she could do. Whether she remembered or not, Mom would have spent the night at work. She couldn't go to the movies. Whether she remembered or not is a minor issue. Maria's totally like Stockholm Syndromed, and like sticking up for her mother. There's no way that's a minor issue. After all, when Aunt Rosa answered "movie" on the phone, it was obvious that she'd completely forgotten her promise. And when she heard that, Mario Ne-chan's mood definitely darkened. Well, like you say, even if Aunt Rosa had remembered her promise, you wouldn't be able to go to the movies in the end. But even so, to think that your mother just forgot her promise to spend one of her few days off with you, it's sad. I'd be mad. Yeah, it was sad, because even if she had remembered, we wouldn't be able to go to the movies. But after that, I had a very, very fun night with Sakutaro. You must have thought that pajama party looked really fun too, Angie. There's no way that would be fun. I mean, all that messing around you did that night was just intentionally making a big fuss about nothing. Also, you could forget that you were lonely and that your mother wasn't coming home. That's not true. I really did have a fun party with Sakutaro. No, that's wrong. You were just so sad and you hated your mother so much for forgetting a promise that you made a mess of your room. She really is doing her best to just say, no, you were miserable. You weren't able to have a good time. You were pretending. And yeah, objectively speaking, she's probably right that she was like distracting herself. It was escapism, but like, you don't need to be like that at the same time, you know? Where was something like that ever written in my diary? It isn't written anywhere. If you want to see this kind of perspective, watch, what's it called? The Beginner's Guide. Go play The Beginner's Guide. If you like this kind of, If this scene right here, like where they're talking, sounds interesting to you, it's a good game anyway. It's by that same person who did the Stanley Parable, so you know it's good. That's a very interesting message. But by reading in the gaps between every line, I can understand your feelings. You didn't have a good time at all that evening. And you stayed up late when you were told not to, broke the strict rule about eating sweets outside of snack time. When even that didn't bear your sadness, you went wild in your room and made a mess of it, right? And after you made a mess of your room and were all tired out, all you did was call out the bed sheets and cry yourself to sleep, right? The diary does say that Mama probably forgot a promise about the movie, that I stayed up late having a pajama party with Sakura Taro, and made a mess of my room searching for treasure. Yes, and this is what it means. You're starving for Aunt Rosa's love, Mario Ne-chan. Aunt Rosa always put her work and her public image first, always keeping you on the back burner. That's what disgusts me, because I know just how superficial Aunt Rosa's words of love for you were. You should have realized this yourself. She's dead. It's too late. She died loving her mother. And as sad as that is, it's, you know, still probably better. So how can you say you're happy despite that? I don't understand that part of you, Mario Ne-chan. Even at my age, I can't understand it at all. Why aren't you sad? Why is it that you can experience a reality filled with misfortune and can call yourself happy? I can't do it. I can't understand it. You're a sad kid, Angie. I don't get it. Why are you pitying me? Even though a fact about a really fun pajama party is written about in my diary. If the same fact is observed by different people, it has a different form. I remember talking about something like this with Bernkastel. Truth isn't fixed and changes its form every time it's witnessed. By the way it's perceived, in other words, depending on the person who perceives it, a single truth becomes different truths. And truths of the past are painted over by the truths of the future. In this diary, I wrote that what happened that night was very, very fun. I described the events of that night as something very happy. And yet, when you read the diary, the events of that night sounded very, very sad. Even though you described it as a happy scene, I read between the lines and realized that that wasn't true. Stop it. This tells of a happy night. This is the truth of that night. Please, don't take this happy truth and paint over it with a new different truth. Are you happy with this, Mario Ne-chan? Yes, I'm happy. That's why I feel sad for you, since you wouldn't be able to feel happiness in a similar situation. Right now, I'm like she was then, just as isolated with no friends. Angie had accepted her isolated reality for what it was, but Maria painted over her isolated reality with the reality of happiness. Maria took a sad truth and changed it to happiness. That was the only, and yet very large, difference between me and Mario Ne-chan. And even though I'm unable to accept it, I'm also jealous of that power. Yes, that's right. This is power. I was able to find happiness with that power. Because you don't have that power, you can't find happiness, Angie. What is that power? I didn't know what to call that power either. Not at this point in time, at least. Eventually, I was taught its true form. I'll talk about it later. On the next page. So then, late Sunday night, Mama came back with a present, just like she'd promised. Oh, I gotta pee. 1 sec. Then we'll finish this section. Go on. Causing trouble. Hold my mic thing up too, hold on. I was gonna replug it anyway, but it would have been nice if it wasn't on the floor, guys. I'm back. Mama, welcome home. What are you? Mama came back. Mama came back. Waiting to greet Rosa as she returned home all tired out was Maria in an unbelievably good mood, holding Sakataro. Most likely, Rosa's worn out expression was partly because she really was tired, but partly because it would be a pain when Maria, who should have been grumbling after staying home alone for several days, would cling to her, sobbing. However, when she was welcomed by an unbelievably happy Maria, and found that her fears were unbelievably needless, Rosa couldn't hide her surprise. What's going on, Maria? You're in a great mood. Is someone here? It was strange enough to make Rosa think that a friend had come over. That she'd come home right when they were having a good time playing together. But there were no other shoes by the entrance. Even though Maria was in such high spirits, she'd been home alone. At first, Rosa was suspicious that the cause of this unexpected good mood could be nothing good, but that really was a needless fear, and in any event, Maria really had been in a good mood while she watched over the house. Even if Rosa's heart had been as cold and hard as a rock, after being welcomed with a smile like this, Rosa started to honestly accept that smile. A smile rose to her own face automatically. In that smile, you could no longer see any of the weariness of someone who'd been in a mother's home for several days. Maria kept talking about what a fun time she'd had playing with her stuffed animal, Sakutaro. Rosa really hadn't imagined that the stuffed animal she herself had given would be so appreciated, and she couldn't hide her pleased surprise. I see. So you spent the time together with Sakutaro. Well done, Maria. Here's a present for Maria and Sakutaro for being so good. Who do you? A present! A present! Ooh, what is it? What is it? Both Maria and Sakutaro started jumping around. There were two presents. One contained an assortment of Western sweets. Inside was a Scotch cake. It looked to be of very high quality, but Maria was more interested in the other one. The other one was an even bigger box, and it was pretty heavy. Go ahead and open it. They might become new friends for you and Sakutaro, okay? What's this? What's this? Inside, lay there like chess pieces, were about 20 small ceramic figures shaped like animals. Squirrels, rabbits, small birds, dogs, and cats. They were all holding musical instruments. In addition to them, there was also a panorama-style background. A forest scene was drawn on it. The small forest animals were gathered in a plaza and looked like they were having a good time. Rosa set it up on the table, in which he lined up the ceramic figures like chess pieces in front of it, and became a band of forest animals. Isn't it wonderful? I saw it in the store window, and I was taken with it at a glance. This is a present for you for being such a good girl home alone, Maria. Ooh, thank you, Mama. Awesome, Sakutaro. Look how much our friends have grown. It's just like you said, Sakutaro. It was true that if we had a fun, noisy time, we'd get more friends. Right? Didn't I tell you? Look, we have more friends. Look, we have more friends. Would you? Relieved that her gift had been appreciated, Rosa remembered that she'd been filled with several days of weariness. Mama, you really worked hard. Go take a shower. If you take a hot one, I'm sure your weariness will go away. Want to take a bath? I'll choose what to put in the bath today. Thank you. But it's already late, so get ready to go to bed. Mama's tired, so I'll just take a shower and go to sleep. I have to get up early tomorrow. Yeah, got it. Here, Mama, I'll take your coat off. I can do it myself. Oh, thank you. Mama, your coat is full of smells from outside. Ooh? Oh, sorry, something fell out. I'll pick it up, okay? When she took Rosa's coat, a receipt or ticket stub or something fell out. It'd been in Mama's pocket, so it was probably important. I hurriedly picked it up. Looked like a ticket for the green car or the Shinkansen or something. Atami? Was not a place famous for its hot springs? At that moment, with a razor-sharp sound, the warm atmosphere shattered. Instead of the Rosa who had been there just a second ago, enjoying the gift with her daughter and recovering from her weariness with a long-awaited return home, there stood a person who looked exactly the same, but who had a completely different, terrifying expression on her face. In her hand was the ticket stub that Maria had picked up. She had stolen it from Maria's hand in an instant. Just a few seconds too late, by the pain of her hand that had been hit, in her mother's expression, Maria realized that she must have done something wrong. But she didn't know what she had done that had gotten her in trouble. It's really because of that ticket stub-like thing. Was she not supposed to touch it? Even though she tried so hard to welcome Mama with fun and happiness, she touched something important to Mama without asking, and it ruined that pleasant atmosphere. So Maria apologized immediately. Sorry. Even though she must have heard those words of apology, Rosa's expression actually darkened. Maybe those weren't the words she'd been hoping for. Maria didn't know what to do, and stared at her mother's reaction. Then, even though it should have been such an important ticket stub, Rosa crushed it up and hurried off to her room. Maria didn't really understand what she'd done wrong. Ooh, I must have done something I shouldn't have. That paper must have been something important for Mama's work, and touched it without asking. You didn't do anything wrong, Maria. That's why tonight was so very happy. Yeah, happy. And when Mama takes a bath and clears her head, she'll go back to being the normal, nice Mama. So you mustn't worry about it. You're right. That paper, it was like a ticket stub or like a thing for like a hot spring place, basically. Rose was not working this weekend. She was at a hot spring, probably with a guy. You're right, Mama's tired too. Ooh, mustn't worry about it. After all, we were so happy tonight. Who do you? And for a second, Rosa thought that Maria had found out essentially, but Maria was kind of slow and didn't really realize. But she trusts her mother. Just stop it. I can't watch this. Angie, I think you're looking for happiness in the wrong way. You're the one who's wrong, One-chan. How can you call this happiness? It's so pitiful that I can't watch anymore. What is? That Mama suddenly got mad? That happens sometimes when humans get tired. Condemning a person because of a momentary misplaced emotion isn't very adult of you, Angie. I can't believe I'm hearing this from a 9-year-old. That's not the problem. That ticket stub you picked up was clearly strange. What was? There was nothing strange about it, and has nothing to do with the happiness of that night, right? Aunt Rosa called because she'd be staying over at a company because of work, right? Why Atami? Isn't that what you call a vacation? I mean, she left you and went on a vacation, right? And you normally don't go on a vacation by yourself. Even if that was a ticket for Atami, that alone doesn't make it proof that Mama lied and went on a vacation, right? She lied on the phone, and then she changed her expression so drastically and grabbed it from you. What more proof could you want? It might have been from a business trip long ago, right? Or maybe she just happened to pick up some trash and put it in her pocket. It might have been a receipt from someone who worked for her, who went on a business trip. In that case, it would be important for her work. It wasn't a toy, so I can understand why Mama took it away. This evidence you're talking about is only circumstantial. Imagination and delusions. I don't know why you're interpreting it in a way that makes our relationship worse. I'm the one who doesn't understand why you're interpreting it in a way that's so convenient for Aunt Rosa. As I thought, you're a pitiable child, Angie. Even though there are so many fragments lying about that could make you happy, you can't find them. Instead, you only look at unhappy fragments and continue to get hurt. That's why you're so scared of being hurt. And only start looking for happiness after you check to make sure there's nothing around you that could hurt you. When I talk with you, One-chan, it gets hard to tell which one of us isn't making sense. You know what? There are lots of happy and unhappy fragments, and they fill the world up. So people who can't find happiness right beside them won't be able to find it no matter how hard they look. Like Til and Mito searching for the bluebird. I don't know what that is. Some story, I guess. Oh yeah, that story with a moral. You're the complete opposite, Angie. You're searching for a world without a fragment of unhappiness. But that's the same as the bluebird. So you'll be unable to find your happiness for all eternity. Is Battler Hansel, or is he the bluebird? Give it a rest already. In any event, I understand that unlimited happiness was wasted because of a single scrap of paper. It sure is scary that a single scrap of paper could do that. In that case, maybe the power to get your happiness back can also lie in a single scrap of paper, right? They're basically just half glass. You know, glass half full, glass half empty. Just when she'd finally been able to communicate with Moria after so long, Rosa's face twisted into a mixture of anger, sadness, and a fierce self-hatred as she flew into her room and closed the door. Maria's sorry had sliced into her chest sharper than a knife. At that time, she noticed a cute envelope placed on her study table. It's probably something that had come with a girl's magazine. "Oh, Mama, let me share my happiness with you," it said. She took it and, after hesitating, opened it and read what was inside. Then, after letting 2 large tears drip down the paper, she flew out of the room, hugged Maria from behind as she headed for the bathroom, buried her face into her daughter's back, and cried. Then, realizing that she was the one who should be apologizing, she apologized. Why is Mama apologizing? There was no answer to that question. Look, we already made up. Something like that was absolutely nothing to worry about because of the friendship Mama and I share. To me, your happiness is too painful, Maria and Achan. I understand how you feel, more or less. Before I realized I had that power, even I was a pitiful child who could only find fragments filled with misfortune, just like you are now. What is that power? This power that I don't have but you do. Are you saying that I'm unfortunate and you're blessed because I don't have that? Just what is this thing that you can't describe with its strap? Just what is this thing you can't describe except with an abstract word like power? Yeah, you do want to know that, Angie. That's why you've been reading my stories so far. Of course, I'll teach you. I'll show you the secret to that power. It's something I taught you about long ago when you were little, right? Did you forget? It's okay, I remember. No, she. She will teach you. She? Who's that? I shall teach you in Maria's place. Remember, capital Maria is what we used to refer to the witch Maria, just like capital Angie. That's how they're listed in the menu. In Japanese, it's just katakana. But Beatrice. She's here. Alright. We're still gonna have a while more of this whole thing, I think. Oh, hey, we have Kinzo here now. Sure. I guess he's here because he lifted up Kraus and threw him across the room. Apparently, that means he's a witch now. Oh, actually, no. It's just putting him in here's Goldsmith. I thought it didn't do that yet. Yep. Goldsmith. Good old Goldsmith. Alright. There we go. That's enough Umineko for the day. That's almost 3 hours.